Welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick live show and happy belated birthday to me. That's right, last week on April 19th, it was a glorious day, a magical day. It's the day my mother pushed me out of her womb 39 years ago. And here I am today, talking to all of you, wearing a Toy Story jacket. And some things never change, but I take comfort in such things. And without further ado, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for coming back to look at my stupid face. It does mean a lot. And I had a WrestleMania themed birthday party. I felt like the WWE champion of the universe as I ate cupcakes with John Cena on top of them, and we watched WrestleMania, hung out, had some drinks, ate some pizza and wings, and it was a great time. So I don't know. It just, you're on the verge of 40 years old and you question what you're doing with your life and you realize that middle age is no longer 50. No. Middle age is technically 38 if the average lifespan of a human being is 78 years old. So that means I'm beyond middle-aged. That's weird and scary. But with all that said, we have a lot to talk about on this live show, almost too much to talk about. We're not just talking about my birthday. No. We're talking about the brand new Michael Jackson biopic, Michael, which I saw last night in the theater. And I have a lot I want to say about this movie, and I can't wait. Also, I want to talk about the brand new trailer for Clayface. This trailer was more than I expected, and I wasn't quite sure on what the tone of this movie was going to be. And for like the last year leading up into this movie, I did not expect them to truly go for it. But yeah, it's like Clayface meets the substance, and I'm here for it. I cannot wait. Also, we have some new 4K Blu-ray movies. You guys know me. I like physical media. I love it. Gives me a reason to live, or at least leave the house and go buy things that I don't want and don't need to impress people I don't like, except for all of you guys. We have some brand new 4K Blu-rays we have to talk about a little bit later. Some good stuff in that pile. I can't wait to share that with all of you. But first, I've been meaning to tell you guys something for a very long time now, and I feel like now's the appropriate time, the best time, and this comes from a place deep down in my soul. And if you're watching right now and you're a longtime viewer, I want you to sit down just for a second as I tell you something it's been eating me alive for a very, very long time. And I mean this. I do. This isn't a joke. This isn't a gag. This is the real John to you guys right now. We have to talk about these great value gummy shark candies. We have to talk about these. Why am I looking at a live screen right now? What happened there? I don't even know what just happened there. But anyway, we have to talk about these. These are the most disgusting things that have ever been created or invented or put on store shelves. Don't ever buy these, and especially don't ever eat these, okay? You would be better off eating a melted down 20-ounce bottle of Dr. Pepper that you found in the sewer. You take it home and you melt it with a lighter in the backyard. Eating that glob of plastic would taste better than these great value gummy sharks, okay? Now, I bought 3 bags of these weeks ago, thinking that they would be delicious. And I've had gummy sharks in the past, and I thought they were good. But these, no. There's something wrong with these, and I can't quite place it. And I've searched the bowels of the internet to try to figure out the mysteries, to unlock the answer of who made these and why do they taste like chunks of plastic. I think a real baby shark would taste better than these candy baby sharks. Just like I think a real sour little... Never mind. I was going to make a joke about eating children that taste sour and then connect it to Sour Patch Kids. But either way, let's open one of these up. And I'm going to eat one on camera for you, just so you can see how disgusting they are. I know you can't taste them, but just trust me when I say it. Now, here's the gummy shark itself. Right? You're thinking, okay, well, it doesn't look that appetizing. And it's not. It's really not. But the best way to describe these, they taste like chemicals. They taste like cleaning products. And then they melted them down into a thing that kind of resembles a shark, but not really. It looks like more of a blue turd. And they're not even like chewy. It's like chewing plastic. And they don't taste like blueberry. They don't have a real flavor. It literally just tastes like carcinogens and saran wrap and microplastics. And each one of these or 3 pieces are 90 calories. But utterly disgusting. Don't ever buy these. Oh, I kind of want to go puke them up right now. Okay, so with all that out of the way, what do you guys say? We talk about some movies, and how are you guys doing? Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a couple weeks, a couple very long weeks. I've been working my life away, trying to get acclimated into being an adult, or at least pretending to be an adult. Really, I'm just a little boy who never wants to grow up. And speaking of little boys who never want to grow up, I watched the brand new biopic movie, Michael, about Michael Jackson, the king of pop, one of the most infamous, famous artists, singers, dancers, entertainers of all time. Now, say what you will about Michael Jackson. He's had a lot of controversy surrounding him, and he's been a very mysterious kind of recluse. He's just an iconic guy, and he had a truly fascinating life. And I've always been into Michael Jackson. And say what you will, his music is still top-notch. It's phenomenal. The dude just put out hit after hit. And I will say this, after watching the Michael movie last night, on the way home, I listened to Michael Jackson. Today, as I was driving around all day, doing things, I was listening to Michael Jackson. I probably listened to Billie Jean and Thriller like 25 times. And that shit just does not ever get old. It's still, like, they could not replicate that or duplicate that today. The man was a genius, and he was a perfectionist. And I have a lot of other things and theories I want to talk about when it comes to Michael Jackson, and maybe some speculation, and we'll get there. We'll get there. But when it comes to the brand new Michael Jackson biopic movie, going into this, I had some assumptions, and I've been saying this for the last year since the first trailer came out. I said, at best, this is most likely going to be a surface-level biopic catered to hardcore Michael Jackson fanatics. And keep in mind, this movie had to sort of be agreed upon by Michael Jackson's family and his estate. And they're not going to put him in a negative light and do anything detrimental to his legacy. No. So going into this, I knew it was going to be a surface level movie that wouldn't get too gritty and would pull most of its punches. And for the most part, put Michael Jackson in a positive light. And for the most part, that's fine. And from a marketing standpoint, when you look at it objectively, you almost have to agree with it, because why would you make the gritty, nitty-gritty Michael Jackson movie that's just going to sort of be depressing by the end of it, that's going to upset his hardcore fans, that's not going to be catered for mass appeal? It probably wouldn't do that well at the box office. Now, critics would probably like it, and I know that's like, there's another version of this movie that exists in another multiverse somewhere that I think would be really fascinating to watch. If you could blend it with the upbeat, phenomenal performances of Michael Jackson and how talented he was with like the true dark side of his life, I think there's a movie there. But we didn't quite get that movie, and it does dabble into some of the darker aspects of his life, but it's very, very surface level. And so when it comes to Michael Jackson, his new movie, critics hate this movie. They hate it with a passion. Let's see what they're saying about it right now. What's happening with this screen? I don't know. What is this? What is this? I don't even know how to do this anymore. Where did my screen go? Okay, something messed up really bad here. Anyway, we'll skip it. We'll do it live. No, this is crazy. Okay, here we go. Sorry, guys. It's been a while. I've been out of the game a little while here, and I'm gonna figure out what I'm doing because I don't know. I had this all set up, and something went really haywire here. Okay, let's pretend like none of that happened. Okay, so in Rotten Tomatoes, critics have Michael at a 38%. 38%. Now, audiences love this movie. They have it at 96%, and that's sort of representing what I just said. Like, this is a movie made for fans who want to like Michael Jackson and want a movie that celebrates his music and his life. And by all means, you sort of get the surface level highlight reel of his life throughout this 2-hour movie. You get all the big bullet points. You see him getting Bubbles the chimp and making the Thriller music video. And that was some of my favorite stuff in this film. The making of the Thriller music video, it's like a 10-minute segment in the movie. But I thought that was really fascinating. I wanted more of that. And you also get some of his upbringing growing up in Gary, Indiana, which Gary, Indiana is only like 2 hours away from me. And that's where you can visit the childhood home of Michael Jackson. And one day, maybe I'll stop by and look at that. Or maybe I never will. But I thought that was fascinating. Watching young Michael with his siblings living in this small 2-bedroom house. And his dad comes home and he's just angry and he's somewhat abusive. And he just makes his kids practice all night, even though they have school the next day. And I thought that was really interesting because when it comes to Joseph Jackson, he definitely was a tormentor. He is the main antagonist of this movie. And he's very one-dimensional. He's just like the same guy for 30 years. He's unrelentless. He kind of uses his family to gain his own success. But without him propelling his family and tormenting his children, I don't know if Michael Jackson would have became the Michael Jackson we know. Now, don't get me wrong. There's definitely some childhood trauma that stems from those young adolescent years of his father making him become a perfectionist and always saying he had a big nose and everything he did wasn't quite good enough, which drove Michael to perfection and maybe some slight body dysmorphia throughout the years with multiple plastic surgeries. You can blame all that on his father. But also, let's give credit where credit's due to this abuser. Without Joseph Jackson, the Jackson 5 never would have been what they were. Michael Jackson might not have been the perfectionist, the greatest performer of all time. So it's one of those weird things, it's like it kind of worked, but also there was a lot of pain and agony that came from it. And I think that's really phenomenal. Now, I'm not defending Joseph Jackson. He was sort of a shithead throughout this movie. Kind of a terrible human being. But watching Michael Jackson in this film, there were not enough moments of just showing Michael alone, just talking to himself, maybe thinking things out, how his mind works, how he develops these ideas. Like, you do get some light bulb turning on moments where he has a good idea, but you don't get enough of it. I wanted some more internal dialogue from Michael Jackson. I wanted to understand how he thinks. And you sort of get the surface level version of all of that. When you see young Michael, he kind of lives in a fantasy world, and he never leaves that. Even into adulthood, he never leaves that fantasy world. And I think that was a coping mechanism to deal with the abuse of his father. He's always reading Peter Pan and looking at Neverland and looking at the map and kind of comparing his father to Captain Hook. And at one point, many years ago, before they made the Hook movie starring Robin Williams, well, Michael Jackson put his bid into Steven Spielberg to play Peter Pan. Now, I'm glad that never happened, but it makes sense. And I think all that's really fascinating. And also, speaking of never growing up, that's something I can kind of relate to. Maybe not to the extremes of Michael Jackson, but, at one point in his 20s, he gets a chimpanzee named Bubbles. And there was another scene where he's coming home to his family's house. And keep in mind, he didn't move out until his later 20s. Even though he was a multimillionaire, he was afraid to leave home. He wasn't quite ready for it. But there's a scene where he goes into a toy store and he's buying all these toys, talking to kids. And then he comes home with the board game Twister. and his like siblings and family are at the pool, and he's like, "Hey everybody, I got Twister. Do you want to play it?" And they're like, "No, Michael, we got other things to do tonight." And he's like, "Okay." And then in the next scene, you just see him alone with his chimpanzee Bubbles playing Twister in his room alone. And like, it's sort of sad, you know, it's just, he never really had real friends. And I think that's a really interesting aspect that they sort of just skim the surface of. Anyway, this movie is directed by Anton Fuqua, who directed Training Day. And since Training Day, he has not directed a lot of great movies. There's been a lot of bad movies. There was that really bad one with Mark Wahlberg called like Infinity or something. It was really bad. It came out like a couple years ago. Anyway, I think as far as like the production value of this movie goes, I think it looks good. I think it's a fine looking movie. And I think if you go into this just wanting a surface level biopic, sort of like Bohemian Rhapsody, which was another musical biopic about Freddie Mercury and Queen that came out a handful of years ago, which was very surface level and did not whatsoever dive into the grittiness of Freddie Mercury's life, much like this new biopic about Michael Jackson doesn't either. If you just want the highlights and you want to celebrate the music and have a couple cool reenactments and a couple fun moments of Michael Jackson doing weird, quirky stuff and kind of get the summary of his career leading up to 1988, because that's where the movie abruptly ends, you get it. You do. And I think this is a fine little movie if you're not a big fan of Michael Jackson, or if you are a big fan of Michael Jackson. I think this is an interesting enough movie. And if for nothing else, the thing that keeps this movie going and the driving force is the music. You can shit on the movie all day. You can give the movie a 1 out of 10, but the music is a 10 out of 10, and everything revolving around the music is a 10 out of 10. It's top tier. But with all that said, let's talk about the man himself, Jafar Jackson, who is the real life nephew of Michael Jackson, and also the son of, I believe, is it Jerome Jackson? I believe that's who Jafar's father is, of the Jackson 5. Either way, this is Jafar Jackson's first acting role he's ever performed in. And I will say, this is definitely the role he was made to play. When you think about it and close your eyes, there is not another human being on the planet who could probably portray Michael Jackson as well as Jafar did. First and foremost, he's actually related to him. He has physical similarities. He sounds like Michael Jackson. He can move like Michael Jackson. They almost got lucky that he exists to play Michael Jackson. And there are some very uncanny moments where there's some wide shots of him performing and moving that if you just like squint your eyes or the camera angle's just right, it looks like Michael Jackson. And especially in his later years, once Michael Jackson once he took on the more iconic image after he had some plastic surgery and was wearing the aviator glasses and his hair was a little more slicked down, that's when Jafar Jackson truly embodied the look of Michael Jackson. And I loved that. I thought once they got into the 80s and mid 80s, that was my favorite aspect of the movie. I thought that was the most fun. But before you get all of that, you have young Michael Jackson in the 1960s and 70s when he's just little Michael Jackson, you know? ABC. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. And not as easy as opening up this caffeinated beverage and chugging it real quick before I pass out. But anyway, I got to give some credit to the little kid who played young Michael Jackson. He looked the part and sounded the part, and he was up on stage moving, and it looked like young Michael Jackson. I actually think he did a really good job. And there's a scene early on in this movie where Michael Jackson's abusive father, Joseph Jackson, he like whips him with a belt, which I from everything I know about the real life Michael Jackson backstory, there was much more abuse going on in the Jackson home, and some of it gets a little bit dark, and they did not touch on that at all. You basically see how his father's verbally abusive and spanks his kids when they don't obey him. So you get a little bit of that. But like I said, very surface level at most. The other thing, speaking of how surface level this movie is, There are some members of Michael Jackson's family and his siblings, his brothers and sisters, that don't even have a line of dialogue in the movie. Or maybe they have one line of dialogue and they're like, "Hi, Michael," or they say one thing. But there's not enough interaction between Michael Jackson and other people. Like, yeah, he says one or two lines to someone and they retort with a response, and then it feels like the scene cuts. There's not enough dialogue. There's not enough conversations in this film to give you like a real in-depth inside look of how Michael Jackson's life really was. You know, you just get these quick little 1 or 2 sentence conversations and it's just on to the next scene, on to the next scene. 1986. Oh, here's one scene. And then 1987. Here's the making of this music video. And then on to the next thing. And I just wanted the movie to slow down and show me like an actual conversation between Michael Jackson and his family. Like, show me what they were doing, you know, behind the scenes. And there just wasn't enough of that. You know, I think that's probably what most people's complaints would be. But when it comes to Michael Jackson, the performer, you know, I'm a dude who makes YouTube videos, you know, and I guess this is performative in a sense. But when you watch Michael Jackson in this film, and I watched it with like different eyes last night, the man was a master what he did. He did everything he could to top tier perfection. Like he just his choreography, his music, he could just instantly do it. He knew exactly what he wanted to do in his head. It just instantly came to him. And you got to respect stuff like that. And another thought that I was, me and my wife were talking about was, you know, I never thought of it before, and I've tried to look it up, but there's no definitive evidence of this. Michael Jackson may or may not have been on the spectrum of like maybe autism. And, you know, when it comes to that aspect, people with that have like a dedicated interest and they're so good at it because they dedicate everything in their life to it and they become great at it, you know? And that's kind of what Michael Jackson did. And then when you kind of look at the way he's socially awkward with people, and the movie even goes so far as to show you like he doesn't like making eye contact with people. Those are all similar traits. I'm just putting it out there. It's just a, you know, an observation. And I kind of thought that was an interesting take on it. Now, when it comes to Michael Jackson and the cosmetic surgeries and all that stuff, keep in mind this movie does end in 1988. So a lot of that controversy and drama and a lot of those extreme plastic surgeries where Michael Jackson sort of just got a little bit eerie to look at, like the Crypt Keeper back in the 90s, we don't quite get there. You know, the movie ends off on a high note. It ends off on Michael Jackson leaving the Jackson 5 and making his debut album Bad, which was a great album. But the movie does touch upon like one scene where Michael Jackson goes and gets his first ever surgery on his nose, like a reduction. And once again, this all stems from his father verbally abusing him, saying he's got a big old wide nose, you know, and shit like that. And you could tell like that eats him alive. And he tries to hide it and he says, well, it's for my sinuses. So the movie does touch on it, but once again, very, very surface level. So as far as my final flicking thoughts on the Michael Jackson biopic movie goes, I liked it. I was entertained by it. I don't think this is like the best biopic that they could have made for Michael Jackson, but I definitely think if they make a part 2, and real quick, the third act of this movie, if you didn't know, they had to go back and reshoot the entire third act of this film because there were some legal disputes. Basically, they touched upon like a legal case that they didn't have the rights to share because you can't make a profit from like a lawsuit, basically. And I guess the Michael Jackson estate never told the producers of this movie, but maybe they should have researched such things. So they basically had to reshoot and re-edit and retweak and do a lot of refilming on the third act of this movie, which is why the third act sort of gets a little bit jumbled and it feels very choppy and sort of just abrupt at points. So I would be really curious to know how the original third act of this movie played out. But I believe this movie will be successful, so we'll probably get a Michael Jackson part 2, because, you know, you have from 1988 all the way until 2009 when he passed away. But I will say that second part, you know, I think there's going to be a lot of fun to be had, but there's going to be a lot of weird stuff they're going to have to like somehow weave into that story. And the other thing is, like, this movie does not put Michael Jackson in a bad light whatsoever. He just always says the right thing, does the right thing. And in all fairness, Michael Jackson did donate millions and millions of dollars to charities. And at one point in this movie, one of my favorite sequences, I will say, is because it's always been like something that stood out to me about Michael Jackson, was when he was shooting a Pepsi commercial back in the 1980s. There was an accident on the set where some pyro went off behind him, lighting his hair on fire, and he's still dancing for a minute, and then he does a twist and a twirl, and, well, he got severe third-degree burns on the back of his scalp, and he couldn't grow hair back there. And the movie does have an entire sequence dedicated to that, and I thought that was pretty well handled. But yeah, you know, it's fine. I don't think it's as bad as some people are saying it is. I think if you just want a movie celebrating Michael Jackson with some surface level hits along the way throughout his life and some bullet points, you get that. And if for nothing else, Jafar Jackson's performance, I think, is like the standout of this movie. I just wish they would have given him like more to do other than sort of just do this caricature of Michael Jackson at times. You know, it's like I wanted to see Michael Jackson just hanging out alone in a day in his life. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the Michael movie. What did you guys think about it? Let me know down below. You can keep saying it all you want, but you're just blatantly wrong. I hope you find solution for whatever pain is troubling you. MJ is innocent. Well, I never said he was guilty. I just said he had some legal issues, my good sir. Here, drink the Jesus juice. It's good. Hey, listen, I don't know what Michael Jackson did behind closed doors, but I like his music, okay? And Macaulay Culkin says he's a nice guy and they just played video games together. So, you know, I'll go with what Macaulay's saying, man. Dustin Rich says there was a Super Troopers 2. I didn't watch it. John is reviewing the film, not Michael Jackson's life. Yeah, we're talking about a film. We're talking about a movie that came out. I'm not reviewing his entire life story, fact or fiction. I'm just talking about the movie. He was a predator. Oh, he definitely had an unusual relationship with children. Oh, there was definitely some weird psychological stuff stemming from that. Absolutely. You don't invite children into your bed to hang out. It's not normal. Absolutely. But we're talking about the movie. So, you know, MJ definitely did some weird stuff, man. Yeah, he did. Okay. John, are you watching Clayface day one? We are going to talk about Clayface. And by the way, speaking of Clayface, if you look at the thumbnail of this video and you see the Clayface thing and the Michael Jackson thing, just for a split second, don't you almost feel like they could have been intertwined? Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. And that did not occur to me until making that YouTube thumbnail. Okay. Let's talk about more controversy surrounding Michael Jackson, which wasn't the topic of the video whatsoever. But people will twist and turn everything to get there. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's fix this up here. Okay. The next main topic we have to talk about is the brand new trailer for the upcoming DC movie, Clayface. Now, let me say this. Growing up, my first introduction to Clayface was in the Batman animated series back in the early 90s. I would come home every day from school, and that's immediately what I would turn on and watch while eating a fruit roll-up and drinking a chocolate milk. I know, I'm a weirdo. But this Clayface trailer, I did not know what to expect going into this. I didn't know if they were going to go for a completely fantastical version of Clayface. or if this was going to be more of a psychological trauma, maybe some body dysmorphia, a lot of plastic surgery. But what we get in this trailer, they go for it, but they go for it in the best way possible. And I just kind of want to skim through this trailer with you guys because I love this thing. This reminded me of movies like The Substance. It's body dysmorphia. It's body horror. And I think that is the ultimate genre that Clayface belongs in. And they did it. They did it. Like years ago, we got Joker. We're not talking about Joker 2. That sucked. But the original Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, which was a rated R comic book character that they made into a character study, and they did it right. Well, it looks like they're doing the same thing with Clayface. And who would have ever thought like Clayface would be getting a solo movie? Did anyone ever think we'd get a solo outing of a Clayface movie? I never did. Like Mr. Freeze, maybe. Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn. We're getting a Clayface movie, and it works. So let's just watch this trailer. We'll skim through it a little bit. Now, this like opening scene here where he's laying in a hospital bed all wrapped up in bandages and just like disformed and disfigured. I love this. This right here reminds me of in the movie Hannibal. What's his name? Played by Gary Oldman. You give him a candy bar, they'll do anything. Cordell. You know who I'm talking about. Anyway, he looks just like him. Mason. Yeah, Mason something. But anyway, that's what that reminded me of. So he definitely looks like he's being injected with a substance of sorts. And I guess that means you can kind of like transform your face to be whatever you want because the man is an actor. So I guess that would make sense. He would undergo such an operation. But just these shots, like this shot right here where he's running through like the alleyway of Gotham City, the way that looks. I just like the way that looks. And I said this on X. If they make another brand new solo Batman movie, and I doubt James Gunn would ever go this dark because he's just incapable of doing it. But if they did, and I can't have this version of Clayface in my Robert Pattinson Batman movies, if they make a new fantastical Batman movie, put it in this universe. Treat it with this same kind of tone and atmosphere. That's what I want. I don't know, man. Also, the guy playing Clayface kind of looks like Ryan Philippine, the guy who was in Cruel Intentions. Kind of like, just looks like him just a little bit. Right there. Doesn't that look like Ryan Philippine? People are like, who's Ryan Philippine? I don't know. Is that even his name? No, not Ryan Filipino. Looks like this guy, right? Look at that guy right there. And look at him right there. Doesn't that looks like the same guy, right? Okay. Oh, that's great. Oh. Okay, so October 23rd, Clayface. I'm sold. That is better than I ever thought it could look. I did not expect a Clayface trailer to be that good or get me that hyped to watch it, but it worked. So anyway, guys, what did you guys think about the brand new Clayface trailer? Let me know down below. I think that looks phenomenal. That looks better than I could have ever expected. We can't get a good Flash or Green Lantern movie, but thank goodness they're making a movie about a C-tier Batman villain. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? But yet, it looks like an A+ movie. And I think the reason for that is when you just take a concept and an idea that that doesn't have a hardcore fan base behind it, where you can have a little wiggle room to do something different with it, unlike Superman or Green Lantern or The Flash, you can get things like that. But sometimes you get shit too. So, but I think that's perfect. But yes, I do wish they would make like a Batman movie or a Flash movie and treat it with that same kind of gravitas. Clayface looks creepy after, and I'm there for it. Will normies watch the movie? I think normies will watch the movie because it just looks like a terrifying horror movie. It looks like a body dysmorphia horror movie. And I think a horror movie sells it. If you have a good trailer for a horror movie, people go watch that. That's all it takes. People want to be scared and they want a good trailer and they'll go watch the brand new horror movie. It can suck, but they'll go watch it. So I think it might do well. I think maybe it would have lent itself better to having maybe a bigger actor in it, because I don't know who that guy is. I couldn't tell you. I have no clue. I don't know his name, and I'm not even going to take the time to look it up, even though I have IMDb open right now. Okay, I will. It stars Eddie Marsan. I don't know who Eddie Marsan is. What has he been in? 3 episodes of CSI? Let's see. He's been in King and Conquer, All the Devils, a whole bunch of... I don't even know anything he's been in. Not one thing. Could not tell you. So anyway, maybe having an unknown's a selling point. It should have starred Timothée Chalamet. I'm just kidding. Okay, aloha, John. Happy Friday. Well, happy Friday to you. All right, let's scroll up here. Let's talk about some of your questions. Let's see what you guys had to say tonight in the live stream. Let's scroll back. We got one here from Jesus Salcido who says, can you immediately tell the better director for the new Spider-Man trailer? You can already tell this movie will be better than the last 2 of them. Yeah, I agree with you. The tone and look of this new Spider-Man movie just looks more cinematic to me. It doesn't look like it just doesn't look like it was shot like a TV episode. It doesn't look overlit. But then again, in all fairness, when you have an MCU movie, they sort of have guidelines on the color grading and the look of it. And when it comes to MCU movies, a lot of them look like, the best way to describe their color palettes, they look like concrete. It just looks like boring, dull concrete. So this new Spider-Man movie, I like the look of it. It actually looks more cinematic and epic. It looks like it just looks like a bigger cinematic experience. So I agree. It looks way better. And this new I'm hoping this is the best Spider-Man movie we're going to get with Tom Holland. And it easily could be. Now, when it comes to Spider-Man No Way Home, keep in mind they shot that during COVID. A majority of that movie, I think like 99% of that movie was shot on a green screen. So you got to blame that. They didn't actually go out and shoot it on any locations. That's why that entire bridge sequence where he's fighting Doc Ock, it just looks like he's standing in front of a green screen, and like the artificial lighting coming down doesn't look like sunlight. It just looks like LED bulbs. It just looks so bad. But thank you for the question, Jesus. And you get a party popper. Let's go to the next one. And the next one comes from Butch Scissorlegs, who says, have you ever been to MJ's hometown of Gary? I touched on that briefly. I've driven through Gary. Gary's a place that you drive through, going at least 55 miles per hour on your way to Chicago, and you do not stop. Okay? But fun story, I actually knew a kid from Gary. His name was Dollar Boy. I'm not lying to you. He got in trouble for robbing a bank, I believe, at one point. Really nice guy. Really, nicest guy ever. Kind of reminded me of like a young Michael Jackson, and thinking back on it just a little bit. But he was from Gary. Anyway, he told me, he's like, hey, man, he's like, every other day, he's like, I got a friend who doesn't have a car, and he won't ride a bike. And what he does is he just walks down the street and steals a car. And then he drives where he needs to be, and he gets out of the car, and he's done. And he leaves it. And I'm like, okay, hey, I get it, man. That's cheap transportation. Anyway, that was 20 years ago. But I've never stopped in Gary. But maybe next time I go to Chicago, I'll stop at the Michael Jackson house. Maybe. Okay, let's go to the next one. And the next one comes from Oscar or Oscars 24401. Well, that just rolls off the tongue. Here it goes. First super chat. Been watching since 2020. Love what you do. Well, thank you for that. I don't know what I do, but this is what I do. But thanks, man. I work at Old Navy and love to watch the playback of these streams when I'm on break. Well, thanks for that, man. I used to go to Old Navy all the time to buy stuff. I haven't been there in a long time. They used to have really good deals on pants, but then things got slightly too overpriced. And then I got to a point in my life where I cannot go buy clothes anymore. I hate shopping for clothes. I buy all my clothes at Sam's Club or Costco. That's where I'm at in life. That's where I buy my clothes. I buy my clothes or I buy my groceries. Okay? But anyway, man, thank you so much for that. And you get a party popper. 3, 2, 1. There you go. And I hope you're on break right now so you can watch the live stream. Well, thank you, man. Thank you so much. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from... Oh, it's coming from Oscars once again. Do you like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? You know, I've been asked that question probably about 497 times throughout the years of making YouTube videos. And I've only watched like 1 or 2 episodes. I got a good friend who is always telling me to watch it. And I love me some Danny DeVito. And my one friend said I remind him of one of the guys in It's Always Sunny. I've never sat down and watched it though, like outside of that episode or 2. Maybe one of these days I will. Maybe that'll be like my new go-to-bed show. Because currently, when I'm having a bad day, and I just want the most carefree, meaningless thing to watch, I watch Seinfeld. But maybe I'll start watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But thank you for that, man. Xavier the One says, John, it's 1990, the best year for cinema. Look it up. 1990. Okay, let's see what we got in 1990. Why is this all screwed up today? What happened? Okay, here we go. Ooh, okay, there's some good stuff in here. Okay. Well, let's see. We got Jacob's Ladder. Dances with Wolves. Fun story. I've never been a big fan of Dances with Wolves. I'd much rather watch Waterworld than Dances with Wolves. Just putting it out there. Goodfellas. Goodfellas was 1990? Wow, okay. Total Recall. Screw you! Psycho. Misery. Ooh, Misery's a good time. Jacob's Ladder. King of New York, Darkman. Oh, we got the original Captain America movie right there. That's a good one, where he has the rubber ears. That's a good one. All right. Child's Play 2. I always liked Child's Play 2. I thought Child's Play 2 was more entertaining than the original. Am I the only one? Let me know down below. Leatherface. Yeah, I mean, there's some good... Dick Tracy came out in 1990? I used to love me some Dick Tracy when I was a kid. The villains in that always creep me out. Have you ever seen Dick Tracy villains? Let's look these up. Dick Tracy villains. Like, these things are nightmare fuel, man. Like, look at... Oh, you can't even see it. Like, look at that. Look at that. Where's the guy with the big head? There he is. That guy right there. That guy always freaked me out, man. I just could not look at him when I ate as a kid. Like, for some reason that does... Like, could you imagine eating a piece of pizza looking at his face? Ugh. Disgusting. But anyway. Yeah, you're right. 1990 was a pretty good year for movies. It was definitely better than 2025 was, I'll say that. Oh, you had It, the TV It movie. You had Exorcist. Was that Exorcist 3? The Witches. Ooh, that was a good time. Arachnophobia. Dude, yeah, there was a lot of... Oh, Back to the Future 3. Dude, yeah, Kindergarten Cop. Oh, my God. You might just be right. That's a good argument. 1990 versus 1999. Which year in the 90s had the best movies? Yeah, no, 1990 was a good year. I guess I never the Jetsons animated movie? Did you guys ever watch the Jetsons animated movie? Leroy Jetson, Judy Jetson. Hey there, Leroy. Anyway, let's keep going. Hey, John, what are your thoughts on the new Miami Vice movie coming out in 2028, starring Michael B. Jordan and Austin Butler, directed by Joseph Kosinski? Listen, I'm a big fan of Joseph Kosinski. If it's a cool adrenaline thrill ride set in the Miami. Now, here's my thing. I don't know much about the movie. The original Miami Vice, like the dudes wearing the white dinner jackets with the pink t-shirt under it. I get it. I was never a big fan of it. But here's my question. Is this new Miami Vice movie set in modern day, or is it set in a different time period? Because if it's modern day, I just don't care about that. That does nothing for me. But if they can take this to the 1980s or even the 1990s, that sounds significantly more interesting than a modern day Miami Vice movie. Plus, Michael Mann made a Miami Vice movie in 2005 or 6 with Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx. So, we already got the modern day version. This better be in a different decade or something. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Butch Scissorlegs, back again, says, if you ever had a pet chimpanzee, what would you want to do with it? Would you try to show it a movie? I'd pay to watch John interact with a chimp. I'd probably do what Michael Jackson did, and we just play Twister alone in my room. Bubbles, you're so funny. And then I fall asleep and that chimp rips my face off. And then I truly look like Clayface laying in that bed with bandages wrapped around me. But anyway, I would like a chimp. I like chimpanzees. I find them highly interesting to watch. It's whenever I go to the zoo, watching the chimpanzees or the gorillas, I can just sit there for an hour and look at them. I think that's the best part of the zoo. I'm like, look at that. Had evolution just shifted a little bit, not in our favor, that could be us right now. Except we branched off and went a different direction. And now here we are talking about movies on the internet and paying bills, But I think they're truly fascinating. Anyway, what was the question again? Oh yes, would I like a chimpanzee? Yes, I would. Yeah, to be honest with you, if I had millions and millions of dollars, I would probably own a chimpanzee. I would. Just putting it out there. Orangutans is where it's at. Man, watching I get sad watching the orangutans. They just look bored. They look like a bored old man. Just okay, here it is, guys. All right. I'm going to turn into an orangutan. All slow, somber, sad. Anyway, let's go to the next question. But anyway, Butch Scissorlegs, thank you for the question. That party popper was a dud! All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Avocado Balls Johnson. How's it going, buddy? So, what's the plan for the sequel? Are they going to hire a new actor, or are we getting Jafar Jackson in whiteface? Well, I think you could put a little whiteface in Jafar Jackson and lighten him up a little bit to match the pigmentation of Michael Jackson in the 1990s. I think that would be fair because that's what he looked like. But yeah, when it comes to all the court case drama surrounding Michael, I'm curious how deep they delve into that if they make a sequel. And we never got a sequel to the NWA biopic. Straight Outta Compton. We never got, remember Straight Outta Compton, another musical biopic where they sort of pulled punches and they didn't really showcase any of the big negatives of the main stars or actors that the movie portrayed, even though some of these guys did some weird stuff, but they never actually showed that in the movie, just like Michael Jackson. But all I'm saying is, like, Straight Outta Compton, I liked it for what it was. I thought it was interesting. But we were supposed to get a part 2 of that, like going into the 1990s and the early 2000s, because there was a lot of stuff they were going to talk about, like Tupac and things like that. But that never happened. And that movie was successful. Like, why did we never get a part 2 of that? I don't know. So it's hard to say. I think we will probably see a Michael Jackson part 2. I think this movie will do well at theaters. And plus, man, they ended off in 1988. There's so much more you can tell. So I think we'll get it. Will it be good? That's the question. Dustin Rich says, what's your take on Pragmata controversy, John? The world needs to know. What's the Pragmata controversy? Is this the video game? Pragmata is a 2026 action-adventure game developed and published by Capcom. Set on a lunar research station, the game follows spacefarer Hugh and android Diana, and they work together to fight a hostile AI known as Idas that is controlling the station and return to Earth. What's the controversy? I don't know I'm sorry, I'm employed. What's the controversy? Dustin Rich says, I missed a super chat. Dustin, you always tell me that. I don't have a question here from you earlier than anything I've already answered. Can you tell me your super chat again in the normal chat and I'll read it, Dustin? I promise. I don't see a question in. If you asked it before we went live, sometimes those don't pop up. Don't hate the player, hate the game. That's YouTube's fault. Let's see. Yeah, man, you're gonna have to tell me again in the normal chat. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I will punish myself right now, Dustin. I'm sorry. Okay, the next one comes from But anyway, Avocado Balls Johnson, you also get a party popper. So I don't know if Michael Jackson's or Jafar Jackson's doing whiteface, but I'm okay with it. Okay. All right. The next one comes from Movies Are Life, says, are you seeing Super Troopers 3 in theaters? I didn't know they were making a Super Troopers 3. I don't think I watched Super Troopers 2. I probably never will. Actually, I did watch it. It sucked. But when it comes to the original Super Troopers, I thought that was a great movie. That whole group of comedic actors, and then they did, what was that other drinking movie that they made? I never watched and never will. But the original Super Troopers, man, was top notch. I'd like a liter of cola. Good stuff, man. Oh, I just answered it? Okay. Butch Scissorlegs says, John, would you find it to be cool to have a cauliflower? Do I think it would be cool to have cauliflower ears? No, man. That shit's gross. I did wrestling in high school, and basically you can get cauliflower ear from wrestling. Basically what happens is you get a rip in the cartilage of your ear, and it fills with blood and gets swollen up and all puffy. It's utterly disgusting. A lot of UFC fighters get it. And that's why you have to wear headgear in wrestling so your ears don't get ripped up. I never got it. And no, I would not want it. I don't want to be disfigured. Nah. Logan CD says, John, did you watch the Busboy movie? I did not watch the Busboy movie. I'm sorry. Yeah, Broken Lizards Club Dread. Yeah, I never, the only thing I liked from them was Super Troopers. Okay, the next one comes from Callie Coma, who says, how are you, John? Did you secure your Odyssey or Dune 70mm tickets? Man, those bad boys have been sold out for months, and now they're going on eBay. I have not bought Dune 70mm tickets, nor have I bought Odyssey 70mm IMAX tickets. I'll watch both movies when they come out. Maybe in IMAX, maybe not. But I do want to see both of those movies. But, The Odyssey's the first one up, so that's definitely one of the highlights of the summer. I'm hoping that movie lives up to the hype. I don't want another underwhelming movie. I hope it's good. I hope, Nolan shocks and surprises me again with an epic telling of Homer's poem. And I'd see a giant in a cave. I just want to be blown away by it, So I just want to see it at some point. I'm gonna watch The Odyssey on my phone in bed. That's where I'm gonna watch it. I'm kidding. Okay, the next one comes from Jason Nelson 5251 says, "Hey John, happy Friday. Did Michael service you?" Did it service me? Well, the music did. The music serviced me. And if I was going to be serviced by Michael, he definitely would have to wear that glove. That's all I'm saying. But I think it was serviceable, yes. Let's go to the next one here. Jake Talman says, "Yo, John, thoughts on Tron Legacy? Just watched it and whoa, it does hold up really well. The Daft Punk soundtrack is an all-timer, and the visuals are great." Well, Jake, with all that said, I did want to say one more thing. Sorry, I'm sorry, all that Michael Jackson talk. When I talk about Michael Jackson, I gotta move. I gotta pop. I gotta party pop. Anyway, thank God I was wearing pants for that. Yeah, I like Tron Legacy. I like it. I've never loved it. I like the visuals. I think the first act of Tron Legacy is really good, where it starts out in the real world, and then you transition into the grid, and the music's awesome. The visuals look cool, but after that light cycle battle in the first 40 minutes of the movie, I feel like the movie kind of runs out of stuff to do that's really cool. And then we go to the dude's cave on the outskirts of the grid, and then we sneak back into the grid, and one or two things kind of happen, and that's kind of like the movie. You know what I mean? And Olivia Wilde looks great in the movie by all means. But after that light cycle battle, I'm like, oh, well, we just hit the crescendo of this movie, and nothing else kind of compared to it. But the music is phenomenal, and the visuals. It's a fun movie just to look at on your OLED TV. It really is. And Daft Punk were definitely missing from the newest Tron movie, Tron Ares, which that movie was a piece of shit. I'm sorry, that was a abomination piece of garbage, wasted IP. Please stop putting Jared Leto in movies. It's not a selling point. We didn't want to see him in Morbius. We don't want to see him in Tron Ares. They keep doing it. I don't know why. Now he's in the brand new Masters of the Universe movie playing Skeletor. I don't know why. Well, hey, man, there's a beverage here. There is a beverage here. Thank you for that. Hey, John, what's your favorite Spider-Man scene? I like in Spider-Man No Way Home when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man cracks Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's back. I kind of like it. That's all I'm saying. I will say this real quick on a side note. If you watch the extended cut of Spider-Man No Way Home, the banter between all three Spider-Men when they're at the Statue of Liberty waiting on the Sinister Six to show up, basically, there's way more banter in that extended cut, and I love it. I wish that was in the theatrical cut. There's an extra 3 minutes of them just talking. But anyway, in all seriousness, my favorite Spider-Man scene, maybe when in Spider-Man 1, right before the Green Goblin dies, he goes, "Don't tell Harry." No, I like when Spider-Man stops the subway in Spider-Man 2. I think that's really cool. That's probably one of the most iconic ones. Jared Leto's face ruined every single trailer for Tron Ares. I agree with you. I agree. Okay, let's keep going here. Let's keep going. The next one comes from, and by the way, Jake, thank you for the question, man. Here's a Daft Punk party popper for you. Skylar Wheelock. How's it going, Skylar? Can I get a happy birthday? I turned 31 yesterday. Well, happy freaking birthday, man. Happy birthday. 31 years old. Skylar Wheelock, you got your whole life ahead of you. I want you to grab life by the balls, figuratively and literally. Well, don't grab someone else's balls. That might be illegal. But grab your own and enjoy life. Thank you for the question, and thank you for the comment. But most importantly, happy birthday to you. There's a party popper for you. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Avocado Balls Johnson. Once again says, the bat feed Clayface 1919 to 1939 on YouTube. You can see that the newer mover, I cannot talk anymore. Okay, I've been reset. I know how to talk now. The words will come out fluidly, and I will speak not like I'm a dilapidated robot with a short fuse in his brain. Let's get through this. Okay. You can see that the new movie is taking inspiration from this YouTube series. I have no clue what that series is. It's called The Bat Feed Clayface 1919 to 1939. Okay, interesting. I wonder if it is taking inspiration. I have no clue what that is. There's a possibility. It definitely has like a film noir vibe, or at least the trailer kind of does, which I like. And I think all Batman movies and spin-offs should have a film noir vibe, because that's like what makes the Batman animated series so good. It had a noir vibe to it. But anyway, thanks for the question. Thank you so much. Avocado Balls Johnson back again says, opinion on Killing Them Softly 2012. If you haven't seen it, put it on the list. I feel like I watched part of that one day. That's the Brad Pitt movie, right? I watched part of this and I did not get into it. I watched like the first 30 minutes of it around the time it came out. Maybe I was in a weird place at the time, but I've really never heard anyone else talk about it. Do you guys like Killing Them Softly, starring Brad Pitt from 2012? Let me know down below. I liked Scream Ice Cream says, pretty sure the Clayface movie is essentially a retelling of Feet of Clay from Batman the Animated Series. And it probably is. That's sort of like what the character of Clayface is. You know, it's a tragic story. And I'm okay with that if they just expand on such things. But thank you for the question, Avocado Balls Johnson. Thank you so much. You guys, I'm gonna run out of party poppers. No, I'm not. Keep them coming. I got a whole bag of these in the closet. Okay, 1982 Seb says, hi, John. How's it going? In the near future, what do you think will happen to movie theaters? That is a great question, and let's expand upon such a question, shall we? Well, you know, I think if we were inundated with great movies that justified their existence, or at least justified the reason for putting pants on to spend $20 on a movie ticket and $47 on a bucket of popcorn and $5 on a gallon of gas to get to the movie theater, I think people would come back to the theater if you just give them good movies to watch. Because here's the thing. Every time that there's a big blockbuster movie that comes out in theaters, every time I go to my local cinema, the theater is packed. There's people in the parking lot. There's people in the auditorium. They're there to watch a good movie. We want great movies, but you have to make great movies to justify their existence for us to pay to go see them in the theater. We're tired of getting crap. And also, as movies, or at least the quality of most movies, not all, we get some great ones throughout the year. But for the most part, we're being inundated with like straight to DVD movies, and they're calling these like theater movies. And I've noticed that for like the last couple of years, like the quality of movies has definitely dwindled, and I blame streaming for that. It's just like younger generations are growing up with shitty or generic toss away, no substance movies that you watch once, instantly forget about. And meanwhile, when you actually watch it, they're like scrolling on TikTok with the movie in the background, and then they look up occasionally and go, oh yeah, that's not that bad. And they look back down. You know, like the newest Matt Damon, Ben Affleck movie that came out a couple months ago on Netflix, or whatever that forgettable piece of trash was called. People said that was good. And I'm like, if you think that's a good crime drama, why don't you watch this movie? Why don't you go watch Heat and compare to this? Like, that's a good movie. This is garbage that you would light on fire and piss on, okay? But going back to your question, the future of cinema. I think there's always going to be movie theaters, and maybe just maybe they become more niche. But also, you know, I think it's like a symbiotic relationship. Without the movie theater experience for like big blockbusters, it doesn't feel like that movie is put on like the appropriate pedestal. And what I mean by that is, if like, for instance, all the new big blockbuster movies like The Odyssey, Avengers Doomsday, if we get to a point where movie theaters don't exist and those movies just come to streaming, right? Those aren't going to feel like an event. No, that's not going to feel special. It's not going to feel like this special thing. And that's what movie theaters are. It makes movies an event. It hypes them up. It brings people together. And at a time in life and at a time in society where we are more segmented now than ever, we need movie theaters. It's not just about the movies. It's about the camaraderie. It's about experiencing this thing together. You know, when I was watching Michael Jackson, or I'm sorry, I keep calling it Michael Jackson. When I was watching Michael last night in the theater, there was a lot of people in that small theater. And everyone was a really good theater goer. Everyone was quiet. They laughed when they should laugh. You know, you could tell they enjoyed some of the musical numbers. And I'll be honest with you, when I was watching Michael in the theater and some of the good music came on, I was kind of like, I kind of wanted to get up and dance, you know. I didn't do that, but I thought about it. But anyway, I think we're always going to have movie theaters. And I think if anything, we're going to get to a place where if they threaten to take away cinema, I think society and people are going to be like, no, don't do that. We need a reason to leave the house. We need something to do that doesn't require a lot of effort, but you can still get out of the house. That's what movie theaters are. Like, you want to hang out with your family, but you actually don't want to talk to them? Go see a movie. And it's a great time because you're sharing that experience. So I think movie theaters will always have a special place. I think a lot of them, I think a lot of the decline is at the fault of the theaters themselves. You know, a lot of local movie theaters, or at least mine, my local AMC theater is a shithole. It's a dump. You want to get lice? Go there. You want bed bugs? Go there. They've shut down 3 times over the last year because their AC broke. They had mold in their vents. There was a bed bug outbreak. Their chairs have not been updated in 20 years. Like, you go there and sit in the theater, and by the time you leave, you have sciatica, and you just want to go lay down for 3 hours. So, and their bathroom looks dilapidated. Last time I went there, half their urinals had caution tape on them. Yeah. You want me to pay $20 for this? No, thank you. So I think the theater experience needs to get better. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is we need movies worth seeing in the theater. And I think if you get both of those things, I think audiences will return and movie theaters will be profitable. Oh, and here's another thing. Call me crazy, but why do we have to sit through 37 minutes of Geico car commercial insurance ads before the trailers play? Do you want to know when I leave to go see a movie? If the show time of that movie is 7:30, I leave my house at 7:30. And guess what? I get into the theater and I can still watch 3 or 4 of the trailers before the movie starts. At least. And that's if I stop and buy a 20 ounce of Diet Dr. Pepper to shove in my wife's purse because I refuse to pay $7 for a medium Pepsi that's flat. Okay? So I hope I answered your question. And you get a party popper. I don't even know if you deserved it, but you got it. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Jake Tammon. How's it going, Jake Tammon? John, have you ever seen Coach Carter with Sam Jackson? I did see Coach Carter just once. That was all of those coach movies where they're like coaching inner city kids. Like Any Given Sunday, or not Any Given Sunday. The Remember the Titans, Coach Carter. There was like 5 other movies about coaches being inspirational to troubled kids. I watched it probably once. I liked it. You know, anything with Samuel L. Jackson giving an inspirational speech, I will probably be drawn to it. Yeah. I don't remember a lot about the movie. Logan CD 1636 says, "Hey John, what is the best Sandra Bullock movie? Protect Blindside. This is my boy, and you ain't gonna mess with him." Yeah, I like how Sandra Bullock, this like suburban lady with like a perm and like a Mercedes Benz, just pulls up to the projects, and she's like, "Where's my boy Michael at? Where's he at? You guys aren't gonna touch my boy." It's like, okay, sure, all right. Anyway, it was best Sandra Bullock movie. Definitely not Blindside. Let's start there. You know, I would have to say, I might have to say Speed. Speed's 1994, right? I'm going to go with Speed. That was probably my first introduction to Sandra Bullock. And when I was a young boy, I was like into Sandra Bullock. I thought she was like, when she was driving that bus, I was like, that is nice. I know that sounds weird. Let's just, let's look at her there. Hang on. There we go. Her name was Annie in this movie, right? Yeah. Yeah, Speed 2 Cruise Control. That sucked. Hey, Keanu Reeves doesn't want to come back. So let's get this guy who looks like a B-rate version, maybe even a C-rate version of Keanu Reeves, and we'll do the exact same plot, but here's the kicker. We'll do it on a cruise ship. Okay. And then you have William Dafoe as the villain. Yeah, I'd say probably Sandra Bullock's best movie is Speed. I'm going to go with that. I have to go with that. Yeah. Okay. By the way, fun story. When I was a kid, every time I would go to the get my hair cut, I'd tell them to cut my hair like Keanu Reeves had in Speed. I just thought he looked so cool in that movie. His name was Jack. I was like, Jack's cool. Okay. Anyway. Sorry. I just thought I'd share that with you. But then they just give me a shitty buzz cut and I look stupid. I was like, I don't look like Jack from Speed. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Claudio Rogajon. How are you? Thank you for joining me. I've missed you. Let's answer your question. Here it goes. I hope Ron Perlman has a cameo in Clayface in some way, since he voiced Matt Hagen in Batman the Animated Series, which this movie is based on. I forgot he was the voice. I completely forgot about that. When it comes to Ron Perlman, my favorite line he's ever given in a movie was in the movie Drive, and that's "one fly pussy mobile motherfucker." I love that scene. Can we watch that just real quick together? Let's watch this scene, and then I promise you we will continue on here. But I think they definitely could give Ron Perlman maybe a cameo in the Clayface movie or something. That'd be interesting. Like maybe he plays another actor he's like acting with in a scene or something in the movie. I don't know. What am I doing? Oh yeah, Ron Perlman Drive Mobile. Oh God, here it goes, baby. Here it goes, baby. Are you guys ready for this? Let's crank up the volume. Everyone get ready. Let's get the screen on here. Are you guys ready for it? Okay.
I'm just fucking with you.
Okay, that wasn't even in the scene. Oh, here it is.
Now that is one motherfucking fine ass pussy mobile motherfucker.
One more. Can I have it just one more time? One more time.
Now that is one motherfucking fine ass pussy mobile motherfucker.
All right, let's go back. Nino is so mean to Shannon. Well, yeah, he broke his legs because he had a gambling debt he had to pay off. Oh, God. Dustin Ritz says, Jack Flick. Thank you for that. Logan CD says, agreed. Dustin Ritz says, when are you starting your new lawn care channel? I actually, speaking of, I know this is not entertaining. I think 3 people care about this, but I did spend about 4 hours yesterday mowing and edging and blowing my yard and spreading some turf builder because I'm getting some dandelions in my yard and that just will not do. You don't grow here. You don't grow here. Not now, not ever. I will exterminate you. And then I trimmed my bushes. Outside, I trimmed my bushes. I spent like 4 hours doing all this while I listened to a podcast. And it was a beautiful, glorious, magical afternoon. So, I don't know. I can barely keep up with this channel. So, I don't know. John sounds like Muttley. Who's Muttley? Jeff Daniel also did Dumb and Dumber in 1994. Yes, he did. Okay, the next one comes from... Oh, and by the way, Claudio, you get a party popper, buddy. Just for you. There you go. All right, the next one comes from Skylar Wheelock. 8477 says, Mandalorian was better when it was what if Star Wars was a Western and not what if Star Wars was Marvel? That is a great assessment. And I cannot agree with you more. Every time I see the Mandalorian trailer play, I just think, this is what Star Wars is. They have nothing else better to give us than a 2-hour episode of Mandalorian, which belongs on Disney Plus, but they're putting it in theaters and treating it like one of the solo outings of a Star Wars movie of the summer. And that's because they have nothing else to give us. Nothing. Nothing. They spent billions of dollars to obtain this IP. And what have they done? They put it in the trash and lit it on fire. Rise of Skywalker. Do I need to say more? No, I do not. Now, when it comes to The Mandalorian, I liked The Mandalorian. I thought the first season was great. The second season, and then, like, whatever they did after that wasn't that great. But, you know, like, I'll go see the movie, but it just feels so inconsequential. And you're absolutely right. It looks like a Marvel movie. And I get that they're trying to make something that caters to young kids, but at the same time, a great Star Wars movie caters to everyone. You don't have to babyfy it. You don't have to put baby Grogu in there to sell merch. You know? So, I don't know. I'll watch it. You know, I will talk about it once the movie comes out. Hey, maybe it'll be the best movie of the summer and blow us all away. Or maybe, just maybe, most likely, it'll feel like a mediocre episode of Mandalorian that goes on for 2 hours. I don't know. But the biggest question is, why does it exist? I don't know. But anyway, Skylar, thank you for the question. And you get a party popper. Okay, the next one comes from Claudio Rogajon. How come there's no Streamlabs link Well, Claudio, you told me last time that I had to update, or you were getting an error message every time you try to use Streamlabs. I tried to set up Streamlabs today. Every time I tried to do it, it still said there was some kind of error with the link. And then I think they wanted me to pay like a subscription service to be able to use Streamlabs, and I'm not quite sure. So I didn't have time to figure it out, because when it comes to these live shows, I sort of decide if I'm going to do one of these 2 hours before I do it. And there's not a lot of time. You know, I'm trying to put topics together, make a thumbnail, get it all set up, and I just kind of run out of time every I don't, that's what I do. I thrive on the adrenaline of trying to get it done in time. And then 5 minutes before I go live, I'm actually naked in my bedroom trying to figure out what I'm going to wear for this live stream. And then 30 seconds before it goes live, I'm in front of my refrigerator grabbing a caffeinated beverage. And then 10 seconds before it goes live, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, what am I going to say again? Oh yeah, let's go. So back to your question. I'm not quite sure what the issue is. I'm going to try to figure it out by the next live show. Okay? I'm going to try. Trust me, I don't like giving YouTube 30% of your super chats. I don't. I do not. They have enough money. Okay. Avocado Balls Johnson, how's it going, buddy? And here's your question. Attend one theater for the rest of your life. One has no seats, so you must stand throughout the movie. Okay, what's option number 2? You can't bring your own seat. Okay, I'm glad you clarified. Option number 2. The other plays 30-second ads every 2 minutes during the movie. Oh, I choose death. Party popper. Man, okay. That's a great question for everyone right now. I want you guys to ask yourself that same question. 2 options. One option, you can watch the movie, but you have to stand the entire time. Option 2, you can sit down and be comfortable, but you have an ad every 2 minutes. I mean, you kind of have to go with option 1, right? As long as you build up your glutes. Yeah, if I have some popcorn, I guess I could kind of stand there and watch the movie. Can I lean on the wall? Because getting an ad every 2 minutes, that would just ruin the immersiveness of the movie. That would completely destroy it. It wouldn't matter how comfortable I was. It wouldn't matter if I was laying in a pool of popcorn butter as someone sprinkled Sour Patch Kids upon me. I could not watch a movie with an ad every 2 minutes. Which is also known as watching a movie on cable TV. Or watching a YouTube video these days, right? I'm sure you guys have gotten 75 ads. I'm going to go with standing up. I would rather stand. Can you sit on the floor? Nope, you have to stand. Can't sit anywhere. You have to stand during the movie. Imagine watching The Dark Knight standing up for 2.5 hours. I'm going to have to stand up on that one, man. But thank you for the multiple choice question. Thank you so much, Avocado Balls Johnson. And here's a party popper for you. Would you rather have a party popper in your mouth or to your eyeballs? You can pick or choose right now. There you go. All right. Thank you for the question, buddy. Claudia Rogajon back again says, just a reminder, Clayface's origin for Batman the Animated Series was made for the show, and that is the only real decent Clayface story. Oh, I'm very aware. I mean, the Batman Animated Series gave the best origin stories to some of the villains from Batman lore, like Clayface. That's a great one. Mr. Freeze. I forget the name of the episode, but it's basically talking about how his wife is, he froze her to find a cure, and that's the backstory of Mr. Freeze, which added so much to his character. It sort of made him a tragic villain, if you will. That series did a lot. And it did a lot for Batman lore. So, yeah. Maybe we'll get a solo Mr. Freeze movie next. I could see that. I think if Clayface is successful, we might get a solo Mr. Freeze movie. Just putting it out there. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I would watch that shit. Trump Epstein 2028 says, Why go live only every 2 weeks? Now, you lazy bones. Yeah, man. No, I've been working every day, man. I've been working 40 plus hours a week. And I just haven't had the time. I really haven't had the time or the energy. And plus, last week was my birthday, so I was busy. And then to be completely honest with you, what movie shit did you want to talk about over the last 2 weeks? There was nothing good. What, you want to talk about Mario Galaxy? I didn't watch that movie. Did you want to talk about the new Mummy movie that looks like junk? Nah, I didn't watch that either. So there was really nothing to talk about. So I'm here now. And I told you once, I'll tell you again, I make videos when I want to make them. When I feel like I have something to say. I don't just crap these out. These are no longer mandatory or obligatory to me. I do these when I want to do them. I don't have to do them. I really don't. I just do them when I want. So that's why I wasn't here the last couple weeks. I'm sorry for my absence. I hope you forgive me. I'm here now. We're hanging out. We're live, baby. It's Friday night and the feeling's right. So thank you so much for joining me once again. All right, let's keep going here. But anyway, thank you for the question, man. Or more of the statement. Dustin Rich says, what's the pigeon lady's origin story? Oh, well, she definitely grew from pigeon shit bacteria and formed into the pigeon lady. And that's why her family left her, because she smelled like pigeon shit. Now she befriends little children in the park. And the only gift she gets for saving his life. And keep in mind, I will give credit where credit's due. The pigeon lady saved Kevin McAllister's life that night in Central Park. If it weren't for her, the sticky bandits could have shot Kevin McAllister and he would be dead in that park. But thanks to her throwing the birdseed on them and the pigeons attacking them, Kevin was able to get away. And how does he repay her? With Christmas ornaments. She's homeless. She lives in a park under a tree. She doesn't have a Christmas tree. Kevin, what is she going to do with these Christmas ornaments? A bar of soap would be nice. Your father's credit card would be even better. Or even better yet, since she doesn't have a family, and you have a very large family that's wealthy nevertheless, and they're all staying in a penthouse apartment in New York City on the house with about 500 presents on Christmas Day, none of which you gave the pigeon lady, you could have invited her in for a meal. Say hi to everyone. This is my friend. Maybe offer her a shower to clean off the pigeon shit. But no, Kevin, you didn't do any of that. You went back up there and you played with your toys and you went on with your life. Meanwhile, she's covered in bird shit out in Central Park cold with 2 Christmas ornaments to keep her warm at night. Anyway, that's the pigeon lady's origin story. Let's go to the next one. Okay. And the next one comes from Alan Smithy 9227. And Alan says, hey, John, at my job, Disney asked me to wind through 2 35mm film prints of Arnold's Commando to give them some info. I think this means I worked on the upcoming 4K release of Commando. Would you buy? Ooh, that is interesting. So you had film prints, the original negatives of Commando? So is Commando not on 4K yet? I don't think it is, right? Interesting. That's cool. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, give me some more insight once you know. But anyway, man, thanks for the inside scoop there, if you will. I'd buy Commando on 4K. The ultimate testosterone-driven movie. I love the sequence in Commando when he's just getting ready. Just putting his swords and his grenades and his guns and all his tactical gear. Oh, I love it. Claudio Rojan back again says, Claudio, you missed me, didn't you, man? I missed you too. Don't you ever leave me, Claudio. Don't you ever leave me. Yes, Batman the Animated Series did a lot right. It also came up with the idea that Harvey Dent was already crazy and the accident just made him worse. Yeah, I like that. I like that. So I like that. Okay, can I stop saying that? I think Harvey Dent already being slightly bipolar or slightly unhinged, and then that acid just releasing that pent up rage, that makes more sense than just becoming a crazy guy because you get burned. So yeah, I liked that aspect a little bit more. You have a turtle dove, and I have a turtle dove. And this way, you always smell like shit as I go home to my rich mansion house back in the Chicago suburbs. Hi, Merle Jack. How are you? John saves his best for us. I do. It's the truth. Do you like the Mario Galaxy game? Dude, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. The last true Mario game I played all the way through was Mario 64. Okay? Now I have, and even in the last year, I go back and play Super Mario World probably like once a year. It takes me to my happy place. I replay that all the time. As far as like the newer Mario games, I'm not into them. I don't play them. I haven't really played Mario games since the 90s. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Mario. Now I like Mario, like I'm interested enough in like the IP and stuff, but that new Mario Galaxy movie just looked like IP vomit to me. It just looked like a movie made for 5-year-olds who like Minions and they want some visual stimulation to help with their ADHD. It just didn't look like a real movie to me. Kevin definitely became a serial killer, especially Jigsaw. Oh, I believe that any day. Yeah. Okay, guys. I'm reading through the normal chats now. If you guys are watching, hanging out, type in the normal chat. I'm here. I'm reading everything you guys are putting in there. You don't even have to leave a super chat. If you got a good question, leave it now. What do you think of Daredevil Born Again versus Netflix series? Yeah, there's definitely, it's a bit different once it hit Disney, right? I can't get into it. I'm going to be honest. I watched a couple or maybe a handful of episodes of the last season. I haven't even watched the new season of Daredevil. I can't. It's not the same. It's so different, and it feels like it's pulling its punches. It's Disney-fied, if you will. Do you guys like the new season of Daredevil? I haven't watched it. I know nothing about it. But, I think whenever something new comes out that typically has a built-in fan base and no one's talking about it the week it comes out and you don't hear anything about it, no one's really making videos talking about it, that kind of tells me that it didn't resonate with anyone and it didn't quite do its job. Just putting it out there. That's sort of a pattern I always see. Thoughts on Hancock, the Will Smith movie? I watched it a couple times. I never thought it was good. What movie do you regret watching the most? I mean, I don't know. If I watched a movie multiple times, I guess I wouldn't have a regret. There was something there that I found entertaining and of value. Outside of watching the first Twilight movie, I'm not quite sure why I watched any of the sequels. I got nothing from those. My wife made me do it, so I did it. But I got nothing from the experience. I will say that. Except there was a scene where Edward ran up the side of a mountain really fast, and that was hilarious. But I think outside of that, I got nothing. But I didn't watch those movies over and over, so I don't know. Thoughts on Weapons 2025. I've talked about that movie multiple times. I liked Weapons. I thought it was a really good movie. I'd put it in my top 10 of 2025. I like the director of that film. I like what he does with the way he tonally structures every act of the movie to be a bit different. And what he always does is the first act of his movies, it sort of starts out like a standard grounded movie. You're like, okay, everything seems like it's believable. And then act 2, things start getting a little bit wonkier and different and scarier and a little bit on the edge. And by Act 3, much like he did with Barbarian and Weapons, by Act 3, that shit just goes off the rails. And he's not pulling any punches. And I like that. I like that every act of the movie feels like almost a different genre, but it's telling the same story. So I liked Weapons quite a bit. I enjoyed it. I'd probably go back and rewatch it maybe like next Halloween or something. And real quick, how about we talk about some brand new Blu-ray movies that were sent to me over the last couple of weeks. And you guys know me. I like physical media. It will always have a special place in my heart and a special place on my shelf. That's where I put all my movies back there, and they all make me feel good about who I am and what I'm doing in life. But I have some cool movies in here that I'd like to share with you guys very quickly before we continue on with the live show. And the first one that was sent my way from Sony was the 28 years later Bone Temple Steelbook. Now look at this bad boy. Look at that sexy Steelbook, man. Look at that. Oh, Ray Fiennes in this movie was glorious. I liked him and the Alpha zombie who has like a 12-inch man dong. But I quite enjoyed Bone Temple. Now, this movie underperformed at the box office, and I sort of get why. Like, it wasn't marketed very well. It almost came out of nowhere. And I think with 28 years later, its predecessor, that movie set up a lot of weird, kooky things. But in Bone Temple, those things kind of paid off. So I liked it quite a bit. I thought it had some really fun scenes. And that sequence with Ray Fiennes dancing like the devil at the end was just top-notch entertainment. But anyway, I opened this up just for you guys. Here's a little J card on the back there. No one cares about that. But look at this. Look at that. That's a nice looking steelbook. And then here's the 4K in there. Sir Jimmy's the name. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'm definitely going to rewatch this at some point. So this is available now. It came out last Tuesday. So you guys going to pick up Bone Temple on 4K? I thought it was a good time. All right, the next movie I want to talk about with you guys. I talked about the Blu-ray of this that was sent to me, and I complained. I was like, well, they sent me the Blu-ray, but not the 4K, so it's like not that exciting. But I guess I'm not as excited as I thought I would be about it because it's anyway. It's Greenland on 4K. They sent me the 4K movie the day after I complained about getting the Blu-ray. Because I'm at a place in life where if I'm going to buy physical media, it's going to have to be the highest resolution. And I think 4K will be the last physical media resolution that we ever get. Like if we start getting 8K, it'll just be digital. But it won't really be 8K because it'll be compressed and you'll have artifacts and compression and shitty audio. And they'll say it's 8K. Look at it, guys. But it's not. It's not. So this is the last, like 4K is the last actual physical media presentation of resolution you're ever going to buy and put on your shelf. Anyway, Greenland, I did not like this movie as much as I was hoping I would. And I love a good disaster movie. And, you know, by the way, did you guys know an asteroid is supposed to pass within 30,000 miles of Earth in the year 2029? And then it's supposed to circle back and come back by us in the year 2036. And there's a lot of weird conspiracy theories revolving around this giant asteroid. And it makes you wonder what the Artemis mission was all about, where we just flew by the moon the other day. Was there something else going on? Is this asteroid going to actually impact us in 2026? And keep in mind, this asteroid in 2029, not 2026, in 2029 will come closer to Earth than most satellites orbiting Earth right now. That's kind of a terrifying thought when you think about it. And by the way, the asteroid is the size of the Empire State Building. Now, will that completely extinct all of humanity if it crashes into Earth? No, but it will definitely have some global consequences. And I don't know about you, but if I knew an asteroid was going to impact Earth in the next 5 years, well, I would stop paying my taxes right now and stop going to work. And that's why they're not telling us. They don't want chaos and anarchy in the streets. so they're keeping it suppressed and hidden. And also, there's been 11 scientists connected to the aerospace science departments that have all died over the last 5 years as well. Mysterious deaths. All dead. Is there a connection? Maybe. But anyway, when it comes to Greenland 2, I didn't think it was that good. And I just thought it kind of felt like a cliche, generic disaster movie, and it just felt like they were going from point A to point B, and they were just always in the worst place at the worst time. And I would have been so happy if this movie just took place in the bunker where they make it to in the first movie. Have the majority of the movie just take place there. I think that's interesting. And then by the end of the movie, maybe they go outside and explore and do something else. There was so much potential here, and they just made it into a generic cliche disaster movie. Anyway, it's on 4K. It's being referred to as a city killer. They just don't know what city it'll hit. Well, they're saying it's not going to hit Earth, but I'm just saying I feel like it's going to. So anyway, in 5 years, half of humanity will be wiped out. But anyway, thanks for joining me tonight on the live show. The next 4K I received was from Warner Brothers, and it's Welcome to Derry, the first complete season. Now, I watched the first 2 episodes of Welcome to Derry, and you know what? Maybe I should go back and watch the entire series because I did not do it. And it's a cool looking release. It's got a nice little slip cover on there. I mean, that looks cool. You know, I've heard some people like this. I just couldn't get into it. Like the kid actors didn't seem that good. They just felt like they were reading off lines of dialogue. I wasn't buying in anything they were saying. I could not get into this series. Did you guys like it? Welcome to Derry. Let me know. Before this came out, I was super hyped for it, but it just wasn't quite the tone I was hoping it would be. Andy Kumar says, John M.F. Flickinger, you the goat. Well, thank you for that. Hey, John, do you like Cocktail with Tom Cruise? I like me some Cocktail with Tom Cruise. I do. It's a movie about a guy being the best bartender he can be. That's the plot of the movie. And Elizabeth Shue's in it. Anyway, just watch 10 Cloverfield Lane. I love 10 Cloverfield Lane. Give me 10 more movies like that, and I would be happy. Welcome to Derry really picks up at like episode 4. So I got to watch almost 4 hours to get into it. All right, maybe I'll savor the flavor. Okay, the next couple movies I have up are from Arrow Video. I love me Arrow Video. I think they put out the best physical 4K releases on the planet. When it comes to a boutique physical media label, they are my go-to. They sent me Blue Thunder, this awesome release of the movie. Now, fun story, I don't think I've ever watched Blue Thunder in its entirety. I know the concept. It has Roy Shire, and basically they have this high-tech helicopter that they're using for surveillance, and there's some twists and some turns, but I've never watched the entirety of the movie. In 1983, director John Badham of War Games followed his smash hit, blah, blah, blah. Roy Shire stars as Frank Murphy, a veteran LAPD helicopter pilot picked to test fly Blue Thunder, an experimental attack chopper. So anyway, I'm very familiar with like this movie. The cover art, I can remember this from like Blockbuster over and over. I just don't think I've ever watched the entire movie. And I like listen, I know this is going to sound weird. It's going to sound completely crazy. I've always been interested in helicopters. I don't know why. I think they're just really cool machines that look like they shouldn't work. Like nothing's more terrifying than a helicopter. Just putting it out there. But anyway, I think the cover art looks really cool to this. This thing has a ton of special features. They actually took this from the original 35 print negative, I believe, and did a real 4K transfer of it. It's got a ton of bonus features. So if you guys are fans of this, and I think Claudia Rogajan, who's watching right now, likes Blue Thunder quite a bit, definitely check this out. I think I'm going to take the time this week, pop this 4K in, and watch Blue Thunder. Because like the cover art just looks cool to me. Plus the release, Beautiful. Let me open it. Actually, you know what? Let me open it right now. And I have nothing to open this with. Hang on. Okay. Let's do a little unboxing. Oh my God, I can't open this. Hang on. I got something for this. I used to have a Batman-shaped like utility knife somewhere. Okay, anyway. Gotta be gentle. There we go. Oh. There's nothing better than a fresh Blu-ray. Am I right or am I right? You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. If you want to relive the glory days of Blockbuster, the closest you will ever get is opening a 4K movie and that plastic smell. It smells like plastic and like carpet fibers. I'm not even trying to be hyperbolic with you guys. It's just the truth. Anyway, take off the slip cover of this bad boy. There we go. There's the inside. It's actually 2 discs. One's going to be the 4K disc, I believe. And then the other disc. Oh, there is no other disc. It's just there's a booklet. Okay, so it's 1 disc. And then they have this awesome booklet in here. Like, look at this. Dude, I can next time I sit down in the toilet for 25 minutes, I'm reading this. I might just leave this in the bathroom. This is the kind of stuff I like to read. It relaxes me. But anyway, really cool stuff. Can't wait to watch that. Now, this next thing I want to talk about here. Dustin Rich says, I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing Blu-rays. The next thing here is Adventure Calls, Carl May at CCC. Now, I am not familiar with this whatsoever. Now, originally, when I got this, I thought it was like spaghetti westerns. And it kind of is that, except it's actually German westerns. Yeah, these are all German western movies. And the guy, Carl May, I believe he was a writer, and then he made movies out of his stories. I believe that's what these are. But this comes with Old Shatterhand, Winnetou and Shatterhand in the Valley of Death. Basically spaghetti western-like titles. Third Dutch Wild Custis, that I can't even read that. The Treasure of Aztecs, In the Kingdom of the Silver Line, The Pyramid of the Son of God, The Shoot. So yeah, man, I'm not familiar with this. If anyone has more insights on this or any of these movies, please share those down below. Now, I would like to watch a couple of these just to give them a whirl, see what they're all about. I like spaghetti westerns. I like the great ones by Sergio Leone. I like The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, things like that. But I'm not quite sure what a German western will be like. So anyway, I'm going to check them out. These are available from Arrow Video. Definitely recommend them. They put out the best physical 4K releases on the planet, in my humble opinion. Okay. Let's see. Skylar Wheelock says Arrow is releasing Falling Down on 4K soon. I can't wait for that shit, man. I'm gonna have to try to get my hands on a copy of that. Falling Down's great. Probably one of the most underrated movies of all time. And it's one of those movies. The older you get, if you work a job, you can relate to Falling Down just slightly. Just slightly. There's sometimes when I'm in rush hour traffic on a hot day, my AC breaks. I just want to get out of my car, get my hands on a automatic assault rifle, and order a hamburger and complain about it. Okay, that's what I want to do. All right. Uranium Cranium says, "Hi John, just tuning in. Just got back from eating Chinese food. Well, how did that go for you? I hope you got some orange chicken." I don't know, some chow mein noodles. That's what I get from Panda Express. All right, we've got some new questions here. Let's dive into these. And here it goes. Claudia Rogajon back again says, it looks like that's what they were doing with Two-Face in the Batman 2. Him dealing with his other personality could make for some trippy scenes. Yeah, I like Two-Face, but I never thought he was like the I think he's a good second tier Batman villain for a movie. I don't want an entire movie dedicated to like Two-Face being the main villain. He was just never that interesting to me. It's like he's a lawyer who got some ass thrown in his face. Now he's crazy. I get it. He's slightly bipolar. I understand that. But aren't most of Batman's villains all bipolar? Anyway, thanks for the question, man. And you get a party popper. But yeah, I'm. Are we ever going to get the Batman 2? Will that movie actually ever come out? I feel like it won't. Rachel! I'll never forget in The Dark Knight when the Joker comes into Harvey Dent or Two-Face's hospital room and he's laying in the bed and the Joker's wearing a mask, a half mask over his mouth, basically a COVID mask. And Harvey Dent does not know it's the Joker until he pulls down the mask from his mouth. Keep in mind, the Joker has full face paint from the nose up. But it wasn't until he pulled his mask down that Harvey Dent recognized him. Just putting it out there. Okay. Peacock Sucker Punch, how's it going? Keen to see Jamie... What is this? Oh, gosh. What does that say? Jamie Dornan as the new Aragon, John. I don't know who Jamie Dornan is. I didn't know they were making a new Aragon. I was never really into Aragon. I watched the 2006 Aragon movie. I thought it was, wasn't that good. I know people love it, the source material, and people were not happy with that movie. But is that what we're talking about right now? I know nothing about that. But I like dragons. Okay, the next one comes from... I don't have a loose eyeball. It's just my right eye. Everything's blurry. And plus, I want you to keep in mind, my screen is like 3 feet away from me, and I'm reading like 8-point text on a screen right now. So it's kind of hard to see. All right. Elliot Cecil says, did you find it funny... 2 when Michael's dad would just randomly appear? Oh yeah, every time in the movie Michael, anytime something good's happening, his dad would just be there in the shadows. Well, Michael, you could be better. We're going to do a world tour and you're going to be the star of the show. And I need you there, Michael. Your family needs you there. Don't make me get my belt, boy. Yeah, that's Michael Jackson's dad. One Note Joseph is what we call him. It's like the dude could do everything except just be nice to... If his dad was just nicer to him, hey, Michael, I love you. You're so talented, man. Hey, you want to go play a game of Monopoly? Let's do it, man. Michael Jackson would have been happy to be in the Jackson 5 for another 25 years. Oh, we're talking about Harvey Dent's loose eyeball. I thought you were talking about me being blind in one eye. Either way, I liked it. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess he was pretty fucked up in the hospital bed. Yeah, I can't judge him too hard. Oh, Jamie Dornan was in Grey in 50 Shades of Grey. I'm sorry, those movies fucking sucked and I forgot they existed. Okay. I want you to know something about the human brain. There's only so much junk you can keep in here, and sometimes you got to delete those files you don't use anymore. If it doesn't matter and doesn't affect me, I just delete it. Are you going to be a strict dad, John, or a cool dad? I like to think both is the right answer. You have to be firm but fair. Funny and fair and firm. Or be like Joseph from Michael. Now listen, I know you got school tomorrow, but put your PJs on. We're going to dance all night in the living room. You're going to be in a band one day and make me millions of dollars. Don't make me get my belt. I deleted math from my brain. Yeah, dude, you don't need math. Do you remember, and I remember this because I'm old, I remember a time when I was like struggling to learn long division, and I was like, listen, I can just use the calculator. And my teacher was like, well, you won't always have a calculator. And I'm like, okay, but at what situation will I have to do long division without a calculator? You know what I mean? And then now you literally have to live life with a calculator in your pocket. You are required as a functioning person of society. You need a phone to do anything, or at least the internet, to pay your bills, to get places, to do things. You have to do it on a phone. You have to. So now I have a calculator. And thank God I never learned long division. I learned long division. I did. But I sort of forgot how to do it. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And by the way, thank you for the question, Elliot Cecil, about Michael Jackson's daddy. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Elliot Cecil, once again, who says, John Campia thinks Daredevil Born Again is on the level of Netflix. I don't know if I agree with that take, and that's a subjective take, and maybe even slightly objectively wrong, if you will. Daredevil Born Again was not good. It was half boring. There was no big standout sequence. Where was that cool biker fight one take shot? You know, there was nothing awesome about it. There was no talking points. The grit is gone. And when it comes to Daredevil taking place in Hell's Kitchen, I want a little bit of grit. So I would disagree with that. I would completely disagree with that, but I'm glad he liked it. And for our next main topic, here's a party popper. That's our topic. All right, the next one comes from Azim the Dream Reviews 7683. That is a long name, but here it goes. Hey, Johnny. As someone who's also trying to figure out a day job alongside being an actor, what made you want to pursue home inspections as a day job? Well, you know, I'll give you some backstory on why I became a home inspector. Years ago, when I bought my first house, I got a home inspection, and every house I bought since then, all 5 of them, I got a home inspection. And I was always intrigued with the process. I was like, oh, okay, you come here, you look at stuff for 3 hours, you don't have to fix any of it, and you leave. I always thought that was sort of intriguing, and I've always had a good eye for observation. I notice things, you know, and I kind of use my same observational skills, my critiques, if you will, the same way when I watch a movie. That's how I sort of inspect a house. And 3-4 years ago, when I became a project manager, and I dealt with everything and every aspect when it comes to construction, I got really confident in it, you know, and I didn't like dealing with the people of being a project manager, and it never ends and everything's your fault and you're always putting out fires every day, and it's a very thankless job that never ends. I was like, you know what? I think now it's time to become a home inspector. And there's a lot you have to do. You have to become licensed. You have to get multiple licenses. You have to take training, a lot of courses, and there's a lot you have to learn. It's very overstimulating, if you will. But I also like the physicality of it, right? You know, for like 3 hours, I have to be on. I have to perform. I have to scour this house, every inch of it. And I got a lot of cool tools and gadgets. I kind of feel like Batman looking for clues. And the fact that it's first of all, it's sort of, there's autonomy when it comes to the job. You're alone. You don't have to work with people. You go do your own thing. You have your own routine. I like that. And most of the time I'm alone. There's nobody there. I love that quite a bit. So those are a few things that drew me to it. And also, you sort of get paid for your own efficiency, right? So if I go do a home inspection and I'm really good at it and efficient and I know what I'm doing and I have a process that works and a routine, I can knock that thing out in 2-3 hours and I'm done for the day. I just made all the money you would make in a normal 8-hour job in 3 hours. And I like that. That's what works for me. And also, I'm one of those people that every job I ever had where I had to wake up and go somewhere every day, the same place and do the same thing, those never lasted very long. And with home inspections, every day is different. Yeah, it's sort of the same service, but every house is different. And I enjoy that. It's kind of fun to me. It's physical. It keeps me in shape. I chug a lot of Powerades to stay hydrated. So, yeah, I don't know. Those are some of the reasons I did it, man. And I quite enjoy it, to be honest with you. It's like the perfect kind of job for me. You know, if I'm not talking about movies on YouTube, I kind of like doing that. It's completely opposite, but I enjoy it. And to be honest with you, I find it easier than doing YouTube full time. Just to be completely transparent with you, I think it's easier. Another story John tells every stream. Well, another question I get every stream. So if you have a new original question and you'd like a different answer, just ask it right now because I'm here, ready, willing, and waiting. Come on, Jason Nelson. What's the question? Ask a question that's never been asked before in the live stream. I dare you. Give it to me now. I want it. All right, let's keep going here. And the next one comes from, and by the way, thank you for the question, Azim the Dream Reviews. You get a party popper. All right. The next one comes from Clark, 1140. Did you watch Baby Reindeer? Great dark comedy drama show. The creator has a new show out called Half Man. I have not watched Baby Reindeer. I don't even know what the fuck that is. What's Baby Reindeer? What is that? I don't even know what that is. No, I haven't. There's too much stuff there's just too much shit to watch. I'm sorry. There's too much junk. I can't sort through all of it. But it sounds interesting. It's a dark comedy? Okay. Have you guys seen Baby Reindeer? Is it good? Let me know. Bradley Pooper, 3531. Thank you. Oh, I love Bradley Pooper. Here it goes. Opinion on Dazed and Confused. I saw it for the first time. Well, what's your opinion on it, man? Did you like it? I love Dazed and Confused. I think it's one of the best like stoner movies of all time. I remember watching it for the first time on VHS back in 1993. I think one of my cousins rented it and we watched it at his house. And I was like, this is like really funny and entertaining. And I always was envious of that time period in life of like the late 70s. It just looked like a fun time to be alive. And it still does. But it's a phenomenal movie. I mean, like the seniors paddle freshmen. Couldn't get away with doing that nowadays. Squeal, piggy, squeal. Party at the Moon Tower later. Catch you later. Matthew McConaughey in that movie. All right, all right. Best thing about them high school girls. I keep getting older and they stay the same age. I couldn't say that anymore in a movie. But anyway, Dazed and Confused is phenomenal, man. Great Criterion release as well. I put Dazed and Confused in my top 20 movies of all time video that I made like 15 years ago. I actually think it's the movie on the thumbnail. It is the movie on the thumbnail. Here, I'll prove it to you. See? Right there. You can see the thumbnail and right there in the back. It just coincidentally happened that way. So yeah, I like Dazed and Confused quite a bit. What will YouTube be like in 40 years' time? Dude, I don't know what YouTube will be like in 5 years' time. I couldn't tell you. I've been here for going on 16. It's been 16 years. It's been 16 years. I've been making this shit for 16 years. Anyway, and really over the course of 16 years, not a lot has changed. You know, like some of the algorithm is always changing, which it's always getting worse. You know, it would be nice if YouTube actually showed you the videos you were subscribed to, but in another 5, 10, 20 years, I have no clue. I don't know what social media will be in 5 years. I don't know if it'll be something that you just get injected into your veins or you get a microchip implanted into your brain. I don't know. What else could it be? I mean, we already have short form content. We now have short form content of memes that are videos. I don't know what else you can do with social media. I really don't. I feel like, what else can you do with it? What else is there to do with it? I don't know. I really don't. I'll probably just keep doing streams. If streams exist, I think I'll just keep doing that. I think right now, here's my thoughts on it. Over the last 5 years with TikTok and all the short form content that people get inundated with, I think long form content is more valuable now than ever because not a lot of people do it and there's not enough of it. And I think there's something, it just has a more immersive function to it, right? Like on this YouTube stream, you didn't just scroll on your feed and it started playing. No. You saw it on YouTube. You had to click on my stupid face and now you're watching. And when I look at the retention time on my live streams, the average person watches these live streams for almost 20 minutes. Think about that. Think about how many short form videos you can watch in 20 minutes on TikTok. And I think that's really cool. I think that's really, to me, that's more meaningful. I'd rather you watch 20 minutes of my live stream than have some 20-second short form video get 10 million views. So back to your question, I have no clue. Basically it's all going to AI. It's going to be all AI slop. And AI is going to get so good that everyone has their own personal AI feed where AI instantly generates multiple videos that only you want to watch and only you will see. That's where it's going to go one day. Now think about that. All right, Uranium Cranium says, what else do you do with social media? You can ignore it. And to be honest with you guys, let me adjust myself here. There we go. Ooh, that feels really good. Anyway. Lately, I don't really do social media anymore. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The more you kind of avoid it, the more you like life more. Don't get me wrong, I still scroll and look at stuff, but I don't really post on Instagram or TikTok or X. This is what I do. This is what I like. I'm revolting against short form social media content. What do? I just sit here and blab about movies for 2 hours on a live stream. I know this is niche shit. I'm very aware of that. And I'm okay with that. I want the audience who wants to watch this. I don't want to cater to the masses anymore. I don't care about them. I care about you. And only you. You know who I'm talking about. You're that special someone. And I like to say, if you're seeing me, you're having the worst day of your life. So hello. Okay, let's keep going here. Dustin Rich says, name 3 SNES games you have beaten. Super Mario World, Star Fox, Excitebike 64. Those are 3 off the top of my head, I guess. Cruising USA. Okay, let's go to the next question here. And the next one comes from Avocado Balls Johnson once again. Here it goes. How did Joker sneak 200 barrels into the engine rooms of two ferries? Nobody noticed the engine room was filled with 100 barrels before they took off. Listen, if you want to dive into logistics, that's not the place I would start. I'd like to know who stacked up that pyramid of cash that was 35 feet tall. Who took the time to stack all that cash up that he just slid down and then lit on fire? I don't know. There's things I don't want to know and questions you should never ask. But fair point, I agree. Bradley Pooper says, "Hey John, are you going to do the new Flick movie fights?" What's the new Flick movie fights, or is that something I said once? Oh, the new movie fights. Sorry. I watched a few seconds of the new movie fights. They're all standing at podiums looking to the right. I don't like the way it's laid out. They should be sitting around a table. I don't like that they're side by side having it's Jeopardy. It's like, no, you don't have a debate by standing side by side with two other people. You have it by sitting across from them and having a conversation. I don't like the layout of it. Anyway, probably not. I mean, if it's in LA, when would I ever go there to do that? So probably not. I've been on movie fights 3 times. That was good enough for me. I was on movie fights when it was movie fights. The next one comes from Clark 1140, who says, "Do you want kids? What would you name a boy or girl?" Oh, I'd name the boy Bruce, and I'd name the girl, I don't know, Selena Selena Kyle. I don't know. Something Batman-y. My wife would never go for that. Yes, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I haven't fully embraced real adulthood yet, and I don't know if I trust myself to be a parent. I think that's scary. I'm a guy covered in party popper goo right now, drinking a caffeinated beverage on Friday night, wearing a Toy Story jacket. So I don't know. But in the next year or two, you might see a little flicker running around here. Give it time. Robert Jordan 996 says, "I turned 26 today." Well, happy birthday to you, Robert, man. Congrats on becoming 26. Here's a party popper just for you, man. That was a big old party popper. Happy birthday, buddy. And thanks for joining me. I hope you had a great birthday. And I'm glad you could celebrate it with me here tonight on a brand new Flick Pick Live show, baby. Now go eat a piece of cake and watch me talk about movies. And I want you to smile as you eat it, too. "Hey, Spider-Man, it's your birthday. Want to blow out your candles?" Oh, God. All right. You're going to be a good dad, I think. Hashtag no homo. Now, I don't even think you needed the hashtag on that, man. Alan Smithy says, "I can't believe he posted it again." Posted what? John, help me out, my friend. Show me what real love is like. I'm showing it to you right now. Every time I talk to you guys on a live stream, I'm making love to each and every single one of you. Didn't you know that? John, do you think Disclosure Day is more truth than fiction? Spielberg seems shady. Oh, well, I definitely think the aliens are us. There's some kind of weird thing happening where we're going to discover that we are the aliens. And now, we're finally awakened to the fact and something big's on the horizon. And there's actually been a lot of theories about the fact that we will probably never encounter another alien race or species in our galaxy because the time just doesn't make any sense. We're just too far away from everything else. And even at light speed, it's not fast enough. So basically, we are the aliens from a future time period, and now we've come back with new technology to revisit ourselves. If that makes any sense, let me know. Also, there's been theories about when it comes to space travel, the only way long-distance space travel is ever going to be plausible or possible is with AI. We're basically going to send a whole bunch of AI on spaceships and send them out 20 million light years. And that's the only way we're ever going to actually explore deep space. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. Let's keep going. Do you think this... Oh, we already answered that. Finally, it worked. Congrats. Yeah. We're the aliens, man. Oh, I know I'm definitely an alien. Okay. Let's keep going here. You took my question, but I appreciate you. Okay, Uranium Cranium says, actually, today is great. I survived another week, and I am drinking lots of beer. Well, congrats, man. After this, I'm going to go eat a frozen pizza and watch SmackDown in my underwear. That's my plan for this evening. Andy Kumar says, I love Shelby Oaks. Well, I'm glad you do, man. You should buy it on Blu-ray. What do you think is the best 80s action movie, Predator, RoboCop, or Die Hard? Now, if I have to pick out of the three of those movies, my personal favorite, for me growing up, RoboCop was always my go-to. I liked RoboCop as a kid more than Predator or Die Hard. I just did. The name's Murphy. The moon looks lovely today. Watching a robot eat baby food, I don't know why, I loved it. And just RoboCop I thought was so cool and badass. Even though he moves at a snail's pace and you could probably just tip him over. I just always enjoyed RoboCop quite a bit. And every time he took off his mask and you had to look at his face, let's look at RoboCop's face right now. It's utterly disgusting. Let's all agree upon that. But look at that gross shit, man. Look at that hairline right there. I'm going to have a hairline like that in another 20 years. I'm going to talk like RoboCop and eat baby food too. But I mean, to me, that was just so fascinating. I'd buy that for $1. Oh, Paul Verhoeven. Great stuff. Now Predator would probably be my second favorite. And then Die Hard would be a third. And here's my unpopular opinion, and I've shared this a million times. I actually like Die Hard 3, Die Hard with a Vengeance, more than I like the first Die Hard movie. I know, it's crazy. I know, it's got Alan Rickman in the first movie. It's a great action movie. John McClane in the skyscraper. I mean, there's so much fun to be had, but I like the banter and the camaraderie between him and Samuel L. Jackson in the third movie, Zeus. I love it. Uranium Cranium says, John, I thought you stopped being an alien after you started working out around 2014. Yeah, but time goes on and I'm reverting back to a little alien boy. Actually, to be honest with you, I'm kind of getting back in shape. I'm feeling a little more, I can feel the biceps throbbing a little bit more lately. That's the summer season though, man. Whenever it's summer out, I want to go out and do yard work and be out in the sun. In the wintertime, I just hibernate and shrivel away as my muscle mass disintegrates. Robo John, yes, that will be my name. The name's Murphy. Oh, I love the first one, Johnny. No, the first Die Hard's phenomenal, man. There's nothing wrong with that movie. It was never just one of my favorites as much as some other people's. Thoughts on the newest Street Fighter trailer? I'm hyped, from Dustin Rich. Yeah, man, listen, as a dude who grew up playing Street Fighter, as a fucking dude who has the Yoga Flame arcade 1-up of Street Fighter right there. I have a whole arcade cabinet dedicated to Street Fighter. I've always loved me some Street Fighter. Every time as a kid, we had a 7-Eleven probably like a half mile away from our house. I'd go down there all the time. I'd get a blue slushie and play Street Fighter with like the 3/4 I would steal from my parents' bedroom. Okay. I love it. Now, we've gotten nothing but shitty Street Fighter movies, and I still remember that original Abomination Against Humanity starring Jean-Claude Van Damme playing Guile. But anyway, this new Street Fighter movie, I think it looks like a fun time. It's very self-aware. It knows what it is. But man, like the characters look like the characters. It's like the style is like over-embellished, and I like the look of it. It's like exaggerated. It looks awesome. It looks fun. It looks like an actual video game movie that's getting the right look, but also it has to be somewhat self-aware so you can have some fun and some levity. But if you have some cool fights with Hadoukens, like, fine by me. The other thing about it is it takes place in 1993 at the pinnacle, the height of Street Fighter lore. And I like that as well. I like that it's taking place in the 1990s when Street Fighter was Street Fighter. So, like, when you combine all of those things, like, they're sort of making all of the right decisions. So I think it looks like a fun time. You know, it doesn't look like Dune Part 3 or something, but it looks like a fun Street Fighter movie. And I'm excited to check it out. And it's kind of crazy that it doesn't come out until next October, because they have been promoting that shit like it's coming out next month. And next month we get the new Mortal Kombat movie, which in my opinion looks okay, but the more I see of it, it kind of looks kind of cheap. Like, it looks better than Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but every time I see like Shao Kahn or something in it, it sort of just looks like a generic MK movie made for Netflix. And don't even get me started on like the popcorn buckets for the movie. Something about those just look really cheap and kind of junky to me. Like, it's not what I would have done for an MK movie. But the Street Fighter movie, in my opinion, and I've always been sort of more of a Mortal Kombat fan, and I love the 95 Mortal Kombat movie. But I think the new Street Fighter movie looks better than the new Mortal Kombat movie. Am I the only one? Let me know. MK popcorn bucket, baby. All right. Okay, that is not what I wanted. Here we go. Okay, here's this new Mortal Kombat bucket coming out. Like, I don't know, man. Like, does anyone want that? That's like a shitty version of Shao Kahn's mask. And Shao Kahn was like never the iconic character of Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I know he was like the big baddie after the first game, but it was never like about Shao Kahn. It was about Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Like, why isn't this like those two ninjas doing something? Or I don't know. It just doesn't look that impressive to me. And like, look at all this other junk that they're coming out with. Look at this. This is basically just the Tron Ares arcade cabinet that they already crapped out, but they painted it green. And like, why is it green? Like, when I think of Mortal Kombat, I think of like red. And then the popcorn bucket and the cup. None of this looks like that cool. Like, don't get me wrong. If it looked more iconic to like retro MK stuff, I definitely want to get it and put it on the shelf. But I don't know, man. This, like, I just don't want a Shao Kahn mask as a popcorn bucket. Anybody else feeling that way? Let me know. He was horribly done in Annihilation. Oh yeah, Shao Kahn in Annihilation was basically the equivalent of a gay porn star. Let's all be honest with ourselves first and foremost. Why do you think modern movie lighting is not as good as it was in the 90s? Because everything is an LED light. And every time you have an LED light, it looks like an LED light. You can just tell. And I don't know what it is, but movies nowadays, like, they just love hair lighting. They love it. Just crank up that hair lighting to 120%. It looks so artificial. The other thing is, with modern day lighting, it's not only the lighting, it's the color grading. Everything's really flat and washed out. So everything looks overlit and overly dull. And the thing that makes cinema is depth and contrast. And when you get rid of those two things, well, now you just have a flat overlit image that looks like shit. Or the equivalent of 99% of Netflix movies. Digital, flat, overlit shit. So that's the problem. Plus, when it comes to film, since everything's shot on digital now, when it came to film, you had to be very precise with the way that you lit things, because film reacts very different to lighting than digital. With digital, you can just take your camera anywhere and probably get the shot, right? But with film, you had to be very exact. You had to plan your shots accordingly. You had to light things perfectly. There was a lot of thought that went into it. And I think that's another factor when it comes to 90s lighting compared to now. Have you seen the Before trilogy, Before Sunset, Sunrise, Midnight? I never watched them. I never did. I know people love them. Uranium Cranium says, John, what do you think about the He-Man movie coming out? Well, I'll tell you this. We went to the theater last night to see Michael. And as we were walking in, they had the Masters of the Universe standee. Let me see if I can find this. If I had the room, I would buy this thing. It just looks so fun. It looks like looking at the standee made me want to buy He-Man toys and play with them in the bathtub as a 39-year-old man. Okay, let's find this. Masters of Universe standee theater. It just looked like if I was a kid and I saw this thing, I would be blown away by it. Oh, here it is. Okay, here's the standee right here. Kind of cool, right? I mean, I walked by this last night, and you got He-Man riding his green tiger. I forget the name of it. You got Skeletor back there. Imagine if this was just Jared Leto's face. Could you imagine how much money the movie wouldn't make? But anyway, and you got Castle Grayskull back there, man. It looks cool. Doesn't that just look like a fun time? That just looks like if I was a 10-year-old kid walking by that, I'd be like, that looks awesome, man. So anyway, am I excited to watch Masters of the Universe? It's not like my top anticipated movie of the summer, but it looks like a fun movie to just go check out on a Thursday night when you got nothing better to do and shut your brain off for a little bit. And if it's just mildly entertaining and they give me all the lore of He-Man and all the visuals and I get everything I got from the classic animated series, I will be content with Masters of the Universe. And if for nothing else, it cannot be as bad as the Dolph Lundgren Masters of the Universe movie. Oh. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It looks like a good time. It looks entertaining. It kind of looks like the same tone of that Dungeons and Dragons movie starring Chris Pine that came out 3-4 years ago, which I thought was a fun movie. Like it's aware of what it is and it's having fun with it. All right. Artificial light will come in handy when the sun eventually dies. Yeah, but we have another I think another 5 billion years or something like that before the sun dies. But before that, it turns into a red giant and expands and we all burn alive. And that'll happen in the course of a couple 100 million years, if you will. So there's that to look forward to. But hey, that's if we don't blow ourselves up first, because we have something called nuclear power. And with nuclear power comes nuclear bombs. And then, as humanity, we're basically just chimpanzees running around. And, So anyway, let's get back to movies here. Before the Earth truly implodes. And here it goes. Billy6486 says, your voice during the Bane flick pick era? ? Really, I don't know. I don't think my voice was any deeper than it is now, man. I was just, if anything, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was just my presentation. I was hamming it up a little bit more. Hey there, guys, it's Johnny with the Flick Pick channel, and today we're talking about Fantastic Four Stick. I don't know. I was just hamming it up a little bit more. I was just hyping up the persona. Maybe that's what it was. Or maybe I was just working out so much my testosterone was in fact higher. And it probably was because that was 10 years ago. And I'm sure the older I get, the more it dwindles. So that could be a possibility. Jason Nelson, 5251, says, John, I watched Predator 2. Wait. Should I watch Predator 2, Man on Fire, or Payback? I think you should watch Predator 2. And I'm going to give you one reason and one reason only, baby. Gary Busey. Gary Busey. Gary Busey's not in Man on Fire. Gary Busey's not in Payback. But Gary Busey is in Predator 2 with Danny Glover. So go check that out. I have a movie night all about Predator 2. Go watch that sometime. I made it with Chris Stuckman back in 2017, I believe. 9 years. That was 9 years ago. Whew. It almost took the wind out of my sails just saying that. Michael's the GOAT. Definitely the greatest pop star of all time. Dustin Rich says, I like He-Man, but all the dialogue in the trailer sound like it could have been written by AI. Yeah, but you have to understand. You have to understand what He-Man is. He-Man wasn't from like some great storytelling origin. No. He-Man was just made up shit to sell toys to kids in the 1980s. And then they came out with an animated series to sell more toys to kids. They had clunky, terrible dialogue. That's what He-Man is. It's not some Shakespearean play with great dialogue that goes back and forth that's moving and riveting. No. He-Man is surface level nonsensical mayhem. So I think the dialogue's fine. And what else did you expect from a movie with a guy named He-Man? I'm just putting it out there. Your voice sounded weird 10 years ago. Well, what do you mean by weird? Unbecoming? Too raspy? Too deep? Let me know. When is Miles Teller going to be in a good movie again? Well, he was in the new Michael movie. Yeah, there's that. I don't know if you could call it good, but I liked it. I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. I thought it was entertaining and fine. I liked watching it. There's something about just watching Michael Jackson just be Michael Jackson that's just interesting to me. I don't know. Maybe he'll be in the new Top Gun sequel. That'll be the next big Miles Teller movie. I didn't want to, and maybe one day I will. Maybe not. Probably not. What was that movie for Eternity where Miles Teller and Elizabeth Olsen live in like purgatory or heaven, and she's there with Miles Teller, her new husband, and her other husband who died in the war is there, and she has to like have like a triangle relationship with both of them. Was that movie any good? It kind of looked bad. The trailers looked bad. They're making a Whiplash sequel. I feel like you're lying to me, but I'm going to look this up. There are no official plans for a sequel to the 2014 film Whiplash. If you give a retard a calculator, he'll try to turn on the TV. I love J.K. Simmons in that movie. Were you dragging or rushing, Neiman? All right. I like Miles Teller. I just listened to him on the Leo Vaughn podcast a couple weeks ago. And I thought that was okay. Seems like a cool guy. Billy M6486 says, What's Billy saying here? Still home inspecting full time? Yes, I am. Yep, I do it full time. I did an inspection today. It was pretty awesome. Started in the morning. I was done by 11:30. I got Dairy Queen for lunch. Upgraded that Sunday to a small Oreo Blizzard. Had myself a diabetic coma on the couch and watched some YouTube. It was a beautiful day. Yeah. So yeah, I am. Just think about in 21 more years, you will be 60. Yeah, isn't that scary? Like, I think about the last 20 years, and I think, man, that went by really quick. And then in 20 more years, I have to be 60 years old. I have to be like old. That's not supposed to happen to me. At this point in life, I just take it one day at a time. If you ever saw Defending Your Life, it's a lot like that. It's a lot like what is it like? I finally watched Whiplash a few weeks ago. Gave me so much anxiety, but it's the best kind of anxiety. Okay, if any YouTube members are in here, show up now. I want to see you guys. I want you to say hello to me. I feel so alone. All right. I'm going to answer a few more questions for tonight. We've been talking for 2.5 hours, so if you guys have any great, juicy questions you feel like I have to talk about or any topics, now's the time. I'm going to take a sip of this caffeinated beverage. Brad Pitt and Tom Brady are 69. What? Flick Inspections. Hey, that might just be a name I use one day. Or it just might be an upcoming TikTok channel that I make. Anything's possible. Anyway, Nova Sonic says, Johnny 5. Uranium Cranium says, I'm here. I know you're here, Uranium Cranium. And I thank you for that. Don't you ever leave me. All right, guys. I think I'm going to wrap up the live show right there. But I do want to say thanks for joining me once again on this Friday night. We talked about the new Michael movie. We talked about the Clayface trailer. We answered, 100-something different questions. And we opened up some Blu-rays. So I would say that's a good Friday night live show. But as always, guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I will see you next Friday. If there's something to be said, I will be here. I'll try to announce the live streams a bit sooner than I have been. I know a lot of people complain that I don't give them enough heads up, but that's what you can replay it anytime you want. John, did you see the new Supergirl trailer? It just looks like Guardians of the Galaxy to me. Yeah, it looks like Guardians of the Galaxy with her saying some generic dialogue in like a cliche story we've already seen 100 times. And the more I see of Jason Momoa as Lobo, it's like, it's okay, but I just don't think Supergirl is going to do that well at the box office. I really don't. And once it underperforms, if they don't change the direction they're going with James Gunn's DCU, I just don't really have much hope going forward. I don't know. Like, why can't he do something better than what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy? Why does everything have to look kind of like a crappier version of that? Dustin Rich says, lame. Billy says, good night, Johnny. Well, good night, Billy. Billy. You're the GOAT. What are a few recommendations for the film styles, Battle Royale, Hunger Games? I mean, dude, as far as like Battle Royale game, I mean, I guess you could watch Snowpiercer. That's kind of like in the same genre. I do think the new Hunger Games trailer looks pretty cool. It looks like better than anything of the previous installments, in my opinion, or at least when it comes to the visuals. Like that new Hunger Games trailer, the way it's shot, it just looks so much better than those previous movies. I think James Gunn's universe is cooked. Yeah, it's kind of like, you better switch this up. This is not the tone people want. Dustin Rich says, go eat some fast food from your fridge. I don't have any fast food. I will eat a frozen pizza that's been in a warehouse since 1996 that tastes like cardboard with ketchup on top. Thanks, John. You are God amongst men. Well, thank you. Thank you for that compliment. All right. Good night, Uranium Cranium. Good night, Dustin Rich. Good night, everyone. Good night, Neverland. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe. Have a good week, and thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.